Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa tawakkal ala al-azizir rahim. Alladhi yaraka hina taqum. Wa taqallubaka fis sajidin. وقال تعالى وعلى الله فليتوكل المتوكلون صدق الله العظيم. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think you guys can be better than that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's get this place lively, mashallah. Okay, so we're here to discuss Istikhara, and some of you have already done Istikharas in your life. And I feel sorry for some of you already, because your decisions on your nikah was made by an auntie that did her istikhara. And she said, that's it, daughter. I have seen a dream. You're going to have to marry him. I know he's your cousin, but forgive me. You know, making istikhara, like, what is going on? Honestly, I've done this talk all across the country, and what I've gathered is people have got these weird views on istikhara, right? Istikhara is for you as an individual. Number one, you as an individual to make to ask Allah for guidance in making a decision. Okay, Istikhara is not that, you know, some holy auntie in your clan, you know, who's going to do her own istikhara is going to come up with a decision and say, I saw this and therefore you've got to go for this, and this is what's going to happen to you if you don't do this. You know, like, honestly, I don't know why people want to interfere with your life when istikhara is really for you. Okay, it's for you. Allah told you, whoever you are sitting there, Allah told you to ask Him, to consult Him, to ask for guidance. Okay? Second thing is, istikhara, guys, look, open your eyes, okay? Istikhara is not just for nikah. I don't know why most people have for istikhara and nikah, like as in, you're going to get married and istikhara is only done for marriage. Now, what, honestly, where did these people get this in from? And another thing Istikhara is not. Istikhara is not that you sit on your sofa watching some Pakistani TV channel and then you're going to call the Maulvi Sahib and then pay him some money and then he's going to basically do Istikhara on your behalf. And he's going to sit there and read something and chumalika chumalichu, and he's going to basically tell you what's going to happen to you. I'm like, all these guys, honestly, all these guys that are on these TV channels and telling you, like, I'm going to make this disappear, I can cure all diseases, like, you know, I'll give you dua for anything you've got, like a heart disease, like this disease, that disease, or this little infection, you've got that infection. I'm like, yo, we've had the biggest wake-up call to say that all these guys are fraudsters. You know the biggest wake-up call is? When COVID-19 came, none of them could do chumalika chu. None of them. So why didn't they say that they can cure you from that or take the COVID-19 away from the world? Right? Because you honestly, I don't understand I don't understand how people get into these things in the first place, and it's because people don't know their religion. And that's why they fall into these traps, okay? So look, guys, what is istikhara? Istikhara is for you to do 2 rakats and followed by dua taught by the Prophet ﷺ, where you're simply asking Allah the following. You're saying this to Allah in a summary, okay? You're saying, oh Allah, you know this thing I'm about to do, is it good for me? If it is, then please make it happen. You know, make it easy for me and put blessings in it. And oh Allah, if it's not good for me to do this thing, then oh Allah, turn it away from me, turn me away from it, and make me do whatever else you think is best, and make me pleased with it. That's exactly what you're saying in Istikhara. Okay? So a summary of Istikhara is what? In a nutshell, you're asking Allah, if it's good, let it happen. If it's not good, give me something else that's better than that. And that's it. And then the thing is, a lot of people have got these things in their heads of, how do you actually know how Allah is going to guide you? Okay, so in this session, we're going to go through all the different, different signs that Allah can give you, right, to make that choice, to make the right choice. Now, in that choice that you're going to make, let me share something with you first. Because a lot of people think that, okay, Allah wants me to do one specific thing. His divine will is for me to do one thing, and I better get that right. Straight away, you're making as a part of a mistake. Okay, it's kind of a mistake you're making. So let me tell you that, look, Allah has written things, yes, but that does not take away our free will. So we've still got our free will. We've got our choice. Our choice is not affected by the fact that Allah wrote something. Now some of you are sitting there saying, how is that? If Allah wrote something and it's going to happen anyway, how do we have free will in that? Let me explain this to you. Because a lot of people don't understand this. And there's a very easy example in the Quran to understand this. So let's go back to the time of Yunus alayhi salam. Okay, he's a prophet of Allah. He preached amongst the people. He told them that believe in Allah. Many of them didn't. He had only a few followers. And Yunus alayhi salam then he decided, he thought, actually at this point he was so frustrated. He said to them, look, Allah's punishment is coming to you. And he said, if you don't believe, his punishment is coming. And that was something Allah said to him, that if they don't believe, I'm going to punish these people. Now, out of haste, Yunus alayhi salam, he left his city. He thought, the punishment of Allah is coming, I better run. As in, I better move away from here. And he was angered by his people. Mughadiban, the Quran says. Anyway, Yunus alayhi salam, he leaves the city. He should have waited for Allah to tell him when to leave. As a prophet, he should always do that. But anyway, it's just a slight mistake of a prophet, and Allah Azza wa Jalla was going to teach him a lesson for this. But this is between Allah and his prophet. A prophet never commits a sin. This is not a sin. This is a mistake from a prophet. So what happens is that he leaves the city. He goes and finds some sailors. He says, can I get onto your boat? They say, fine. And then they sail up. On a nice day, they sail out there in the sea. So Yunus is thinking that, I'm just going to leave this land and so on. Now, they're at sea, all of a sudden a storm hits this boat, a big storm. It's really dark, it's cloudy, it's raining, it's pouring down, the waves are going to toss this boat over. And the sailors say, whenever this has happened, we've always drawn a ballot, okay? We put everyone's names in a ballot, and we draw a ballot, and whoever's name comes out, that person definitely has upset Allah, and therefore that person is the one that we should just throw off this boat, because that's God's curse on that person. And we better deal with this person before our boat gets capsized, and then after that we'll drown. Okay? So this is what these sailors did. It's not something from God, whatever. It's something that the sailors got used to as a thing. And what happened is they drew a lot, and they found that the name that came out was Yunus. And they said, there's no way this man could have done something wrong. He's such a nice man. And they said, no, let's do it again. And they did it again, and his name came out the second time. And they did it again, and his name came out the third time. They said, no, this man is so good. And Yunus saw this, and he thought, you know what? He thought, I know what I've done. I shouldn't have left the city out of haste. And it was a mistake. It's not a sin at all. And Yunus voluntarily, he jumped out of the boat into the sea. Straight away, a whale comes and basically just swallows Yunus a whole into his belly, entirely into his belly. Now, Yunus is inside the belly of the whale. It's a long story. I'm going to get to the point that I want to make to you, which is what? Yunus is in the belly, and Allah says two different things about him in the Quran. In Surah Safat, Surah number 37, towards the end, you'll find this ayah. Allah says, فَلَوْلَا أَنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُسَبِّحِينَ. If Yunus never glorified me from the belly of the whale, this would have happened to him. لَلَبِثَ فِي بَطْنِهِ. He would have remained in the belly of the whale until the day of resurrection. Subhanallah. If he never called out to me. In a separate part of the Quran, in Surah number 21, ayah number 87, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says, Yunus alayhi salam, فَنَادَى فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ. He called me from many different, from the midst of many different darknesses. He called me from the darkness of the whale, the belly of the whale, the darkness of the sea, the darkness of the clouds. From the midst of all that, He called me from within the belly of the whale. La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu minal zalimin. He said to me, there is no other deity except for you, and you are most sublime. I have wrong. I'm the one who's done wrong, And then Allah Azza wa Jalla says, he repeated that, he repeated that, he repeated that. And then in the end Allah says, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. Then I answered his call. فَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. I saved him. Or وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. I saved him from the stress that he was in. And then Allah made the whale come towards the shore. And the whale vomited Yunus out to the shore. And we know that Yunus was safe and sound. And then he found his people had actually, they got really scared. When he left, his people got really scared. And so many of them came out to find him. They're like, we wouldn't believe in Allah. And then when he was at the shore, then his people came and found him as well. They were believers in his message. This was a rare case in history, but these people actually believed in the message, and Allah saved them from the punishment. Alhamdulillah. Okay, now, let's get to our point. What's my point of all of this? Have you noticed Allah said two things? If Yunus alayhi salam Allah said, look, if he was to stay silent, and if he wasn't to call me, then this would have been his fate. His fate was written, that he will stay in the belly of the whale until the day of resurrection. But Allah also says, if he calls me, then this is going to be his fate, which is he will be delivered to the shore safely. Right? So now, two things are written for Yunus alayhi salam. Two fates are there. His choice of free will was never taken away from him. Okay? And now I want to bring you in this scenario. You and me are going to be placed in many different scenarios in this world. We're going to find many scenarios where Allah is putting us, should I do this, should I do that? It could be a choice of two things, could be three things, four things, five things, whatever. We're in a dilemma, we need to make a choice. Now, Allah would have written for me and for you, if this person chooses this university course, or if this person moves to this address, for example, then this is going to be his or her fate. If she moves to this other address, because you've got a choice of moving houses, and it's up to you where you're going to move, as for your house, right? So, but if they move into this area, then that's going to be their fate. If they move to that area, then I'm going to give them this school and that college and whatever, and that's going to be their fate. If they're in place number one, they're going to have this kind of neighbors. Place number two, they're going to have that kind of neighbors. Place number three, they end up with that kind of house and whatever, whatnot. Okay, people, community, social conduct with all these other people, all the masjid, the local people. It's all going to be different. But that choice, when I have to make the choice of this area, that area, that area, that's my free will. Just like Yunus had his free will. All fates are written, as in, if I go here, that will happen. If I go here, that will happen. If I go here, that will happen. Now, what are we doing with Istikhara? With Istikhara, this is a fantastic way of making the best choice. That's what we're doing with Istikhara. How is that? Okay? How that is that Allah knows if I move into area 1, my life is going to be, X, Y, Z, whatever. If I move into area number 2, my life is going to be A, B, C. And if I move to, area number C, whatever, my life is going to be whatever, D, E, F or something, right? Allah knows all of this. He knows that X, Y, Z is going to be probably better than the A, B, C, world I'm going to get into, or better than the D, E, F world I'm going to get into, okay? Allah knows that. Allah knows that the worst of these choices I can make is D, E, F, okay, in area number C. And all those things are going to come ahead of me, right? Now, what I'm doing with Istikhara is this. I'm saying, oh Allah, look, I do my 2 rakats, I do my dua, and I'm saying, oh Allah, please, I do Istikhara for this one. Should I move here? Is this going to be the best one? Please show me a sign. If it's not, then move me somewhere else, maybe area B or area C, help me make this decision. Because I don't know which one is going to be the best. Now, of course, A was the best, where there's, choice number 1 was the best, where there's going to be like, X, Y, Z life is going to be over there. Okay, so choice number 1 is the best one, the best area. Now, Allah's going to send me a sign, okay, some sign for me to decide on choice number 1 and leave out choice 2 or 3. Or it could be this case. Nothing, right? I'm making Istikhara for choice 1, choice 2 area, choice 3 area. But you know what? There's something better that I'm not even thinking of. Right? Something better. There's choice number 4 or 5 or whatever in a different area, different locality. I'm not even thinking, I'm not even looking there. So why I'm trying to do Istikhara for choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, please Allah show me a sign. You know what sign comes up? The sign that comes to me is, look over there. There's something over there. That comes up in the Istikhara. Now how is that going to come up? We're going to learn that in today's session. Are you guys with me so far? Yeah. So this is a way of me having Allah help me make my choice. And of all the things of choices I make, inshallah I won't regret it. Why? Because Allah is going to give me a heart that will feel like, you know what? There's something there that tells me have made a really good choice. Even if things go bad, I'll tell you later on how things are going to be better, but that's for later on. Okay, now, when we're doing istikhara, please remember that there's a massive part of this is tawakkul on Allah. It's basically depending on Allah. But when we're depending on Allah, tawakkul, what does tawakkul mean? Loads of people say, oh, just depend on Allah, rely on Allah, do tawakkul on Allah. A lot of people say this, right? But people don't understand what the meaning of tawakkul is. Tawakkul, if you want to understand the meaning, you go to beautiful hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And this beautiful hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, if you were to do proper tawakkul, you would be like the birds that leave their nests hungry and empty stomach early in the morning, but they return back full stomach by evening. Now, subhanAllah, what a beautiful example in a Sahih hadith of Muslim telling us about what tawakkul is. Now, let me get into this, okay? Here's the bird, okay? Bird wakes up, chip, 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 like tweets early in the morning, not the kind of tweets that we send, right? But chip, 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 right? And alhamdulillah, one thing I have to say, birds when they sing early in the morning, they're actually doing the dhikr of Allah. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, right, when birds sing in the morning, their singing in tahajjud time is different from the singing in fajr time. Soon as fajr time comes in, just after a few minutes, just one night, I want you to do this test, okay? Listen to the birds singing at tahajjud time, right? They're going to sing differently. As soon as tahajjud time finishes and fajr comes in, within about 10 minutes, their singing changes. And they sing differently. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of the angels that they sing, because we know a lot of angels come down at fajr time. A lot of angels come at fajr time. And we know that tahajjud time, Allah's, He's calling us from the first heaven. Who's there to call me? I will answer the call. Who is there to ask me something? I will give it to them. Who's there to seek forgiveness from me? I will give them forgiveness. Hadith of Bukhari, okay? We know that. That's in tahajjud time. But then in fajr time, we know from the Quran, kana mashhud, that the Quran says that the angels are really coming down at fajr time. So maybe it's that, I don't know. But anyway, very early in the morning, starts, tweeting or chirping, whatever. And then it knows what? It knows it's hungry, I've got to find my food. Now tell me, which bird goes to Tesco, Sainsbury's, right? Which bird goes to Asda, Lidl, whatever? Which bird does that? No bird does that, right? The bird knows that, look, I'm hungry, and the bird has full faith. Look, the bird has full faith, I'm going to return back to my nest in the evening with a stomach that's full. But where's my food? I don't know. If you ask the bird early in the morning, look, where are you going to eat today? Asda, Tesco, where are you going to eat? What you going to eat? I don't know. Where are you going to find it? I don't know. Anyway, the sun rises. What does the bird do? The bird does something. The bird doesn't sit in its nest. This is the most important thing. The bird gets out of his nest, flies to the nearest place, looks around, right, on the floor, here, there. Okay, there's some grass over there. Oh, look, it's going to be wet. There's going to be worm there. Oh, there's a worm there. First meal of the day, right? And the bird moves around like that, okay, throughout the day, it's going to find something. Now what's the bird doing? The bird is now seeking what Allah has written for it. In the morning, the bird is tawakkul, which is to depend on Allah with his faith. By day, the bird is searching for that thing Allah has written for the bird. Right? By evening, its full comes back, has a good night's sleep. Okay? The same thing Allah's Rasul is telling us to do, which is what? You are depending on Allah, but don't sit where you are. You have to go out there, you have to find, search, look for what you want after you've done the tawakkul. Okay? You have to do that, you have to be active and do something to try and get what you want. The Sahaba said to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said, Messenger of Allah, if Allah has already written, okay, that, we're going to get better. We're ill. For example, I'm ill right now. But Allah has written that I'm going to get better. Then why do I need to take medicine? And then the Prophet ﷺ said a very important thing. He said, how do you know that Allah has written, He has written already that when you take the medicine, then you're going to get better. Which means what? You have to have tawakkul on Allah, that Allah's going to make you better. No medicine makes you better. Guys, remember this. No, we never put our faith in the medicine, nor in the medication, nor in anything that we take, nor in the doctors, nor in the system, nor in the hospital. But we need the hospital, we need the doctors, we need the medicine, okay? Our faith doesn't go in them. Our faith is in Allah. Now, when I go out there and take the medication, right, that's sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. When I take the medication, my faith is not in the medication. No. My faith is in Allah. If Allah wills, then this medication is going to make me better. If Allah doesn't will, all the medication in the world can't make me better. You guys understand that? Yeah. That's how we are as believers. We have a beautiful religion. No religion on the earth, guaranteed, no religion on the earth will give you a better understanding of faith than what we've got. Of qadr and fate and predestination. Okay? So now let's get back to what are we doing with istikhara and tawakkul and all of what I've said. In istikhara, you're going to make istikhara, but you can't sit at home and wait for Allah to suddenly bring what you want to your door. You've got to go out there and you've got to search. And you're going to try and get what you want. But in trying to do that, one of the really key things a lot of people don't understand is this. That whenever you've done your istikhara, you've done your 2 rakats, you've done your dua, you have to go out there and you have to consult. A massive part of istikhara is consulting. A lot of people don't understand this. Now let me tell you, this is part of istikhara. The early, in a book called Adab al-Dunya wad-Deen, page number 309. قال بعض الأدباء, some wise people said in the past, they collected this in Arabic. ما خاب من استخار ولا ندم من استشار. Whosoever does istikhara will never face failure, and whosoever does istishara, which is consultation, will never face regret. The sister of istikhara is to consult. This means you have to go out and you have to consult in the very field of what you're doing istikhara for. It's not consultation anyway. Alright, so please, guys, you've got to understand this, okay? And what I'm telling you now, most people don't do this. Most people don't do this. So, for example, if you're going to, let's say, for example, choose a certain thing that you want, alright? Let's say, for example, it was to do with a business proposal that you had, right? So you've got a business proposal. You can go to the Imam and you can say, Imam, I'm going to sit with you. Can you tell me about this business? The best thing the Imam is going to tell you is whether the business is halal or not. That's it. He's going to say a few questions. Okay, it's halal. It's a groceries you want to open. Go ahead and do that. But what the Imam can't do is because the Imam is not a businessman. He can't tell you what a grocery shop is like to open, right? So where do you have to go? You have to go and consult the people who know what it is to open a grocery store, okay? So go and speak to people who've opened one, or people who've been in the trade, or people who've dealt with that trade. If you're going to invest your money in a certain part on the internet, you better ask people who've already invested their money, right? Or people who invest their money like that. That's part of your consultation to find out. If you're going to now go to the person, you say, well, tell me what's it like. And they tell you, look, you've got to get up early in the morning, 5 o'clock. You've got to be there 6 o'clock at the marketplace. You've got to go and buy the fresh fruits. You've got to bring them. You need a van, this, that, blah, blah. This many days the fruits are going to go off. This many days the vegetables are going to go off. So you've got to make sure you sell them. Keep them in the cold, blah, 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 whatever. That information you're going to get from businessmen who have actually dealt with the grocery store. Now, what is this doing? This is helping you make your decision. You know what this is? This is guidance from Allah Azza wa Jalla. You've done your istikhara, you're going out there, Allah's going to guide you to the best decision through people's mouths, through people's conversations. Allah's going to guide, this is one of them. There's many signs Allah can give you, okay? I'm going to tell you many different signs Allah can give you, but one of the biggest ones is what? Through habits, through behavior, through things that you see, through things that actually happen, you're going to be able to make that best decision for yourself. Now, let's say, for example, somebody is going for a university course. If you're going to go for a university course, okay, and I don't actually understand why people don't take proper careers advice. People are 17 and 18, they're going through this right now. By the time they get 24, they're going to have a degree. That degree, they're going to say, you know what, I want to bid that degree, man. I'm not going to work in that thing that I studied for 4 years. Are you crazy? Why did you choose that course in the first place? Oh, because my friend was in IT as well. My friend said to me that, yeah, it's my friend, isn't it? I've got to stay with my friend, isn't it? We have kebabs every weekend, I can't split up with him, innit? Seriously, what's wrong with you? Where's your careers advice? Even when they go for careers advice, the people giving the careers advice, I feel like I'm... You know what I'm trying to say? If he was alive. Why? Because all they're doing is just giving you a whole lot of information. Oh, what about this course? What about that course? Would you be interested in this course? Would you be interested in that course? How would you like to do that? Why don't you read me as a person? Why don't you see what my brain is like? What my character is like? Make me do a personality test. Honestly, that's how careers advice should be. Read me, find out who I am. Find out who I am that I don't even know about. Seriously, when you do these personality tests, You find out, you find out things about you that are true that you always sort of, huh? Really? Yeah, that's me, but I never looked at myself like that. Tell me who I am from studying me, and then tell me a person of my character is going to find that kind of job really good. You guys with me, yes or no? Yes? 7 people said yes. Allah bless you. Brilliant advice. Are you guys with me, yes or no? Yes, I need a lot of people to say yes, otherwise I'm going to actually put you very down on the IQ score after this lecture. I'm not joking here. You guys, mashallah, mashallah, okay? Now, what happens is you want to choose a university course. Now, what do? You do your istikhara. You got a few courses in front of you. You need to consult. Who are you going to consult? You need to consult. You want to go for maths. Yeah? You better go and consult someone who's actually done the maths, right? Done the course. How difficult was it? How many hours did they have to spend? Right? You want to go and become a doctor. Everyone, doctor. Why do you want to be doctor? Because my mom says I have to be doctor. Because she's Indian, I have to be doctor. You don't understand doctor? I have to be doctor. Right? What's wrong with you? You want to be doctor? Look, I don't understand the parents that want to force their kids into these areas. Okay? You got a passion. Look, I'm an imam. I want my kids to be imams as well. But I have to also look at them. I have to read them. I have to be, considerate of them. Of course, I'm going to try and get them to be imams as well. But I've got to understand they've got their own life, their mind, right? Their own, their own surroundings. They've got their own brain. They've got their own, surroundings. When I became imam, you know how I became imam? You know how I became imam? My dad took me to the madrasa, dropped me off there, and then where's dad? I don't know. He's gone. That's how it was. That's how he took me to the madrasa, right? He was paying the fees. I went and looked at the madrasa, and I said to my friends, I said, where's my dad? He said, you done? He's gone. He left me there. I was like, okay, welcome. Right? That's how it was. Now in those days, it was very different. I'm talking about the 80s. It was very different. Right? You could do that. Today's going to be child abuse. Child abuse. Right? All sorts of things that you're going to get. A child can pick up. Children, they tell their parent, you ready? Okay, you know what? Child helpline, 0800, They quote the child helpline to you. Wow. If I did that when I was young, my God, that child helpline number would have gone down my mouth. Even the telephone would have gone down my mouth as well. Right? And then my dad would have beat me up. If I went to a policeman in the 80s and said, Uncle Bob, right? Uncle Bob, my dad does back, and I said, why did your dad do that for? I said, Uncle Bob, he did that for this reason. Yeah, I said, child, really? Here's my shoe. See my shoe? Size 10. Bang! That's how the police were in this country as well. Today, the police, oh my God, it's going to be, I'm not asking for any of this stuff, right, to happen again. But look, I was in a different world. I'm in a different time. It's very different. Today, when you want to do something, you've got to look at the, you've got to look at the new generation. You've got to look at the laws. You've got to respect all the different laws. I understand all of that. I'm not asking for any of this stuff to happen again. Now, my point is this. You're going to go for, choice number 1, choice number 2, whatever. And as a parent, you're going to decide for your child to do this course, that course. Please, honestly, take in consideration what your child is made of first. Right? What are you made of? What can you actually take? A doctor, have you seen people study study medicine, for example? You see how many hours they have to put in there. Now, is your brain capable of actually storing all that information in without it spilling out of your ears when you sleep? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, have you actually seen how many terminologies, doctors, and how many things they have to remember? Is that crazy? Anyone here studying to be a doctor? Anyone here studying to be? You're like, nah, even if I was, I'm not going to tell you right now. Right? There's someone over there, right? There's someone over there, yeah? How are you finding it?
I need du'as.
You need du'as? Ah, wow, look at her. She needs du'as. May Allah bless you. And your parents not put you in there. Right, now look. If whatever course you're going to do, you better ask about people who've done it. You want to become a lawyer, you're studying law, ask the lawyer, what did they go through? How many years? What kind of studies? What was it like? Right? And now that you got the degree, what are you doing with it? Right? Get all of that information, get the consultation done. When you do that, then Allah is already guiding you towards your decision. Because these things coming from the mouth of the people who studied that thing, you're going to be sitting there thinking, wow, I don't want to do that, or I want to do that, yeah. You're going to be making those kind of, comments in your head. Because now you know what you're going to go through for the next few years, right? Now, I'm going to give you one istikhara that I did regarding this, okay? This was all the way back in 2004. 2004, I had to make a choice of a university degree I was taking. I want to do an MA. Now don't forget, I've already done my Alimiya degree. I've got my, you know, I've gone through the Darul Uloom or the madrasa, and I've studied for 9 years in boarding school. Okay, so then in 2004, I decided I want to do an MA degree. I had 3 choices in London. One was MA in history, second one was MA in Islamic studies, and third one was MA in education psychology. Right? Now I did my Istikhara, and of course, what do you do after Istikhara, guys? Istikhara, which is what?
Consultation.
Consultation, right? But you got to consult who? Is it anybody?
No.
Is it like Uncle G in the masjid?
No.
What do you reckon, Uncle G? What's he saying after your prayer beads? Which way should I go? Is it? Who should I consult?
Specialist in that field.
A specialist in that field. Okay, good. Right? People in that field who've been through that. Okay, so who did I go to? Now, I could have gone to my ustads and my teachers in the madrasas, but I didn't. Why? Because most of my ustad, they're from Pakistan, they're from India, okay? They came here and mashallah, alhamdulillah, I love them. They gave me a lot of information. I really respect them. But you know what? None of them have actually been at a university. So if I went to them and I said, Ustad ji, mujhe university jana hai, aap kya farmate hai? I'm going to go to university. What are you going to say? You're going to say, Puttar, university jana hai, wahan to fitna hai. They're going to say there's a lot of fitna, there's tribulation. No disrespect to them. They're going to say, don't go there. There's going to be a lot of fitna, a lot of tribulation, this, that, blah, blah, blah. They're going to put me off here, right? Now, I'm not disrespecting my teachers or what they're going to say. No, but they are not the people to consult here. Why not? Because I need to go and speak to an alim, to a scholar who's gone through a madrasa and also gone to university. That's who I need to speak to. So I found someone, a very well-respected scholar from Pakistan, Dr. Mahmoud Ghazi, who was at Islamabad University. Wonderful man, wonderful person. May Allah bless his soul, say Ameen. He passed away. Honestly, I wish I could have spent more time with him. But anyway, he was in London. I was driving him around for about 10 days. And I said, Dr. Sala said, you know, I need to do this, right? I've got a choice of 3 things. What should I choose? Now listen to this. Listen to what kind of consultation comes back. Because this is a man who's done both. And that's what I need. If you're a guy, if you're a person doing a specific thing, find someone who can understand you, as in you, not your parents or somebody else. You. They've got to understand you, your background, where you're at. They've been through it as well, and then they're going to give you the best consultation. So what did Dr. Saab say to me? He said to me, if you do MA in history, what are you going to do after that? What's it going to lead you to? I thought, you know what, he's got a point there. He said, if you do MA in Islamic studies, all you're going to do is repeat everything or part of what you've done in the madrasa, and all you're going to do add on is a few Islamic terminologies in English. That's all you're going to add on. I thought, you know what, that's right. He said, you're not going to learn anything new to what you've already studied 9 years in boarding schools. Then he said to me, which one is the most difficult? I said, it's going to be MA in education psychology. Because that's going to put me in the deep end. I've never done anything of that kind, but I'm really interested in psychology and in education as well. He said to me, he said, "Agar har Musalman har asan kaam karta jayega, to mushkil kaam kaun karega?" Which means that if every Muslim does every easy task that he finds, then which person of the ummah is going to do the difficult thing that the ummah needs? I thought, you know what, spot on. And I made my decision. I'm going to go for education psychology. And I went for it, and subhanAllah, now today, almost 20 years on, I've used that degree in all the syllabi that I've been writing, okay, for education. I've got it in titling. If you go to safarpublications.org, you'll find the books, the children's books that we've been writing over the last, over a decade. Okay, I've used it there. I've used it for my teachers. I've done seminars for teachers how to teach at the maktab or madrasa, and all that education psychology has really helped me. Now, what did I do? I went and consulted who? Someone in the field, someone who's from my background, someone who understands me, someone who's got something which I want to, that's the direction I want to head for. Okay? So with all these things in mind, I've got the right person for consultation. Now let me bring you to another scenario. Let's say, for example, you wanna, let's say, there's many things you can do istikhara for, okay? You can do it for, like I said to you, let's say, for example, a journey that you want to make. Should I make this journey? Should I not make this journey? And this also reminds me of something which, of why istikhara was given to us. Why was istikhara given to us? Do you know what the early Arabs did? These are Arabs before they became Sahaba, radiallahu anhum ajma'in. So the early Arab, okay, this was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in Makkah al-Mukarramah, and this is an Arab who hasn't accepted Islam. You know what they used to do to make a decision? He wants to go on a journey tomorrow. He says, okay, I'll wake up in the morning. He wakes up in the morning, and then he comes out his door. He sees a bird on the tree. He picks up a rock, and he throws a rock at the bird. If the bird flies towards his right, yeah, I'm going to go on the journey. If the bird flies towards his left, he goes back inside. He says, today's not a good day for a journey. That's how they made their decisions. They were very superstitious people, and Rasulullah gave us Istikhara Salah, and he gave us Istikhara Dua to make our decisions. And we are now asking Allah Azza wa Jalla directly to help us make that choice, right? So you can make Istikhara for a journey, for a university course, for a business proposal, for an investment, for wedding proposal. I know a lot of you think Istikhara Nikah. No, it's not just for Nikah, okay? You can make it for, whether you want to keep in contact with someone, keep contacting them, or break off with them, whatever. You can make Istikhara for that. Whether, let's say, you're going to make, you're in a project, a new project. You've already started the business. Each project you can make an Istikhara for. You know how many times I've made Istikhara in my life? I've lost count. Every time I come to some kind of choice I need to make, I'll make Istikhara. Right? And you make Istikhara for everything. Now, do you know this? I don't know, a lot of people don't know this. Imam Bukhari's famous, hadith book, Bukhari. Everyone knows Bukhari, right? Yes? Guys, you're going to talk to me, guys, otherwise you're going to think that you don't understand English. I need to start talking in Punjabi. Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah, his book was a collection of 7,000 plus ahadith, which he chose from a collection that he had of 100,000 ahadith, sahih ahadith he had. From there he was going to choose the most supreme 7,000 plus ahadith, and he's going to put it into his book. For him to make that choice, he could have put that book together in 1 year, 2 years. He didn't. He put it together in 16 years. You know why? Because for every single hadith, which hadith is he going to choose from his 100,000? Where is he going to place it in his book? For that, he did a ghusl, he went and bathed, and then after that, he did his wudu, he then did his Istikhara Salah, and then he made his choice. He did 7,000 plus istikharas for writing his book. No wonder his book is so accepted amongst the ummah. Right? So even something that you're doing, anything in life, you want to make istikhara for, you can. Now one other part, look, there's like, for example, divorce. Let's say, for example, somebody wants to actually get a divorce and they want to make an istikhara for it. Can you make an istikhara for it? Of course you can. It's the most hated of the permitted things Allah has given us, but you're here, you've had a bad married life and you want to think of getting out, you want to make istikhara, fine, make istikhara. Now what do you do after istikhara, guys? Istikhara. Which is what? Consultation. You consultation. Who do you consult? Ex-divorcees. You consult, what people do? You consult your friends. You go to the gym and you say, yo, mate, my wife, she's not making breakfast for me, what I'm saying? Like, well, do, man. You guys got your abs there and got nothing, like, I don't have eggs in the morning, I've got to make it myself, I've got to iron my clothes, what kind of wife is she? I'm thinking of, getting rid of it, right? Or you sisters there say, my husband, he doesn't come home on time, he doesn't look after me, he's always not there with me, I have to watch all my movies on my own. My husband never takes me on holidays, man. And then your friend's sitting there, right? She could have, of course, you need to talk to friends, don't get me wrong. You need to get your sympathy, empathy, all that. Don't get me wrong, okay? Okay, don't get me wrong, please. But your friend's sitting there saying, all my days, I wouldn't even stand for this guy, but not even for one night. Put all his bags into 2 black bags and place all his clothes in 2 black bags and put him out of the house and just throw him out. Sister, la finito. And you know what? May Allah bless this sister, say Ameen. I tell you why may Allah bless this, I tell you why. Because she's got a lovely husband. May Allah bless her husband as well. We don't want to give people like that. May Allah bless her husband, she's like, my husband takes me out for holidays once a year. We've gone to Dubai, we've gone to Turkey, we've gone to da-da-da. You're rubbing it in, sister. But may Allah still bless you. I tell you why may Allah bless you. Because you've got a nice life, your husband's got a nice guy, and you've got a nice life together, and I don't want anything bad to happen to you. But unfortunately, apart from the fact that you should sympathize with your friend, this is fine. But if it's for divorce, your friends come to the wrong place. Why? Because you are not the person who's gone through a divorce. In fact, sometimes I think, why are these guys doing that, man? Every day she's going there saying, my husband did this, my husband swore at me, my husband did that, my husband did that. And just, if I was there, I would have done this. I'm like, whoa, stop there, man. The best you can do is tell this sister to marry your husband, innit? I'm only joking. Joke. But the thing is, look, why on earth are you there, sitting there, rubbing it in? The best you should do is this. Look, I tell you, the best you should do is this. Look, a lot of people don't know this, right? Look, you're gonna get a lot of people come to you, not just for divorce, for anything. Like something's happened, someone they're not happy with, your friend, whether you're female or male, your friend has come to you and given you a story, right? And as an imam, I get this all the time. People come to me and they say, Shaykh, my husband is, Shaykh, my wife is, and I'm sitting there, and you know what the first thing I do? I say, look, stop there. I can hear you for the next 12 hours. 12 hours if you went on and tell me all about your husband, all about your wife, I can sit here and listen to you, but I can't really make a decision. Why? Why? You know what tell me?
Qualified.
I am qualified. As imam, we're trained to like give the best, what's the thing here, Tom? I haven't heard, let me just help you out, before the next person says you're really not qualified. I haven't heard the other person speak, right? It's a classic mistake a lot of people make, right? You haven't heard the other person. I don't care how close your friend is, how honest you think they are, how many times they've been the best, like this person, oh my God, if my friend was a man, if he's basically a woman, right? If my friend was a man, then I just marry that person. That person is so good, right? You kind of think like, oh, this is the best person. If she was my sister, I'd live with her forever, right? But it doesn't matter. Look, you haven't heard the other person speak. You haven't heard the husband speak, or you haven't heard the wife speak, right? If you haven't heard the other side, this person, you know what this person is doing? We humans are trained, okay? This is part of us nature. That when we're speaking to someone about when I'm speaking to someone about my problems, I'm going to tell, or you're going to tell about the other person's, bad things, and I'm going to talk about my bad stuff, but I'm going to basically dilute it. Do you guys understand? Just trim it down a bit. Make it not look too bad. You guys with me or not? Most of you are looking at it thinking, Sheikh, I'm guilty of that. I'm sorry, I don't want to nod my head. That's what most people do. 99% of people are at least going to tone down their bad and going to maximize some part of what the other person has done. Now, how can you make a proper decision from that? You can't. That's why this teaches us another thing, which is what? When you consult with someone, if you're going to consult with someone, you better be honest and unbiased, and you better tell everything about yourself and the other person as it is. Because you want Allah to guide you through your istikhara. And now you're consulting someone about your problem. And if you're not honest, they've heard half a story, they're going to give their decisions based on what they've heard. Because so far, you're looking like the angel that married the devil. Do you understand? You guys understand or not? Yeah. It's almost like Asiya and Fir'aun. Seriously, it's almost like, because we've got a real example of that in the Quran. It can't happen. Don't get me wrong, guys. You might be an angel sitting there married to some Fir'aun there. May Allah have mercy on you. Say amen, guys. You might be that case, but don't go after this video. You're going to hear this video good. That's it. I went to Sheikh's talk. He did tell me you're Pharaoh. You're Pharaoh. No, I'm not saying that, right? Now, the thing is, look, you might be whoever you are. You might be an angel, but I'm not going to judge you on anything. But how do we know that? Unless we speak to your husband or speak to your wife, we're not going to find out who you really are. And if you carry on telling us about how much of an angel you are, we're going to believe you. And we're going to say you are an angel, and your husband is a pharaoh. We've never spoken to your husband. And we're going to say get rid of your husband, do this, do that, and then in the end you make the divorce. And guess what? You should have consulted the women who were divorced. Because if you had consulted them, it would be a different case. Because if you ever consult a woman or consult a man who's gone through divorce, you hear a complete different narrative. They'll tell you about lawyers and solicitors, and about fees, and about children, and about the cries, and about how it affects them, and they'll tell you about their own, how they wrangle with one another. And a lot of divorces, what happens after a while? In those years when they're like, yeah, I'm going to going to throw this at you, and I'm going to throw that at you, you little pumpkin and you little kangaroo. And whatever else they say to you, like, no, those days when they're really at each other, after a while, you know what happens, okay? Let's say they've gone through the divorce, and they've gone through all that, and everything's simmered down, right? And then they look at each other and they say, he wasn't such a bad person. You know, she wasn't that bad. Now that I'm looking on the internet, you know, she's a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, these little ones are not pumpkins or kangaroos. They're little donkeys over there. You know? I'm joking, like, same about husbands, right, or men. Honestly, people reflect, people have regrets, people have gone through the process. I'm not saying every divorce ends like this. You might even hear, you know what, it was the best choice I've ever made. Now listen to those people as well, go on, get the information. What made it the best choice you ever made? What happened? Tell me, your husband, tell me your scenario. Does that scenario match my scenario? Think, right? But it wakes a lot of people up. If you actually go through the whole process of consulting the right people, you have a world out there that you start to see which you never would have seen before. Tell me this, who knows about this? Let's say, for example, one divorcee man and a divorcee woman. May Allah forgive all of us. Say Ameen first. And may Allah bless all the people out there who are trying to make this difficult choice. Say Ameen. Right? Now look, divorcee man, divorcee woman, okay? Judge said, you have the kids. To the woman he said, you have the kids Monday to Friday. Said to the man, you have the kids Saturday, Sunday. That's what normally a lot of times that happens, right? Now he's in another house. She's in another house. Now they've got the kids between them. 3 kids, right? Friday night they come to him. Sunday night they're going to go back to mommy's, right? Monday morning they go to school. Now their toothbrush is in the other house. Right? Their clothes are in the other house, and dad's house, because Friday after school they went there and left the clothes there. There's so many things that you will find. What about finances? What about the housing? What about living a new life? Right? There's so many things. What about the children? How do children face it? Right? In the end, you make your choice, guys. I'm not telling you not to divorce. I'm not telling you to divorce. All I'm telling you to do is do the right thing, which is what? You consult the people who've gone through it. And then you make the best choice, right? So any one of these things that you want to make, any choice you want to go through, you better consult the right people in that field. Let me now see if you've been listening. Let's say, for example, you wanna go for Hajj, okay? Now you want to choose a Hajj company. So is it going to be company A or company B? You want to choose a Hajj. And let me tell you another thing, right? Most of these advertisements on your TVs are going to show you the best Hajj ever. MashaAllah. Look at those hotels. Every single one they advertise, they're on their packages and on the screen, 5-star, yeah. 5-star, yeah. 5-star. Okay? But how are you going to find out which companies like what, Tommy? You consult who, tell me?
People who've been on there before.
People who've been where?
Hajj with that company.
With that company, yes. Ask the people with company A, company B. Ask them, oh, you know, last year you went with them, what was it like? Then you're going to hear the stories. Yeah, they gave us a picture of a 5-star grand hotel, mashallah, but we never knew it was the other hotel, little one in the corner of the picture. Right. And then I'm telling you real stuff, right? As in, look, they told us that the 5-star hotel, it was a 5-star hotel. But guess what? It was 1 hour 30 minutes to walk from the haram. Or 45 minutes to walk from the haram. They never told you that. Or they told us it's going to be a 5-star hotel. But on the days of Hajj, the 8th of Zilhijjah, 9, 10, 11, 12, they basically never booked a hotel in Makkah. So we had to basically be, you know, with no hotel for 5 days. Right? All sorts of things you're going to hear, guys. Coaches, you look at them, mashallah, you know, these coaches are like almost like delivered from Germany. You know, like real, like air conditioned. You know, when you see the coaches, you just look at them, you think, man, I could sleep in one of those. But when you get to Hajj, you kind of guys, Egyptians, Hajji Allah. And basically, you be like, subhanAllah, if I can just survive this coach journey, then, you know, I'm not a shaheed. You get me? Right? Otherwise, I'm going to be in heaven any moment right now. No, seriously, right? Now, if you're going to decide on, let's say, for example, you want to send your kid to a school, or you're going to send your kid to a madrasa, or an after school madrasa, okay, in a masjid. A lot of people ask me this, which one should I send them to? You do your istikhara, and then what do you do? Tell me, what are you going to do?
Consult.
Don't go to the Mawli Sahib and consult. Don't go to the Imam and consult. You're going to the wrong place to consult. Don't go to the committee members and consult. Committee members are going to say, haan ji, lao ji, Just fill the form up, pay your fees and get inside. It's a very good thing. Who do you go to speak to? Parents. How are you going to find the parents? You roll up your pram at 6:45 p.m. They're finishing at 7 p.m. You roll up your pram just before they finish, and all the parents are waiting there in their cars or coming to the madrasa to pick them up. Talk to those parents. Ask them. Tell them, look, how's your kid inside there? How's the education system here? How have you found you? Are they contacting this, that, blah, 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 blah? Ask them. Ask them everything. Are there any, things in there that you wouldn't want? You know what I'm trying to do? I'm putting magic wands. You know what I'm trying to say? Magic wands. I'll keep it as that because we plenty people. So you ask them, you're going to get a total different picture. Go to different masjids before they shut, before the kids come out. Talk to the parents. Go to the schools at 3:30 or 3 o'clock before the schools are finishing. Talk to the parents outside. And then you get a different story. So now you got my idea, right? You want Allah's guidance? It's one of the best ways to get guidance, which is what? You do Istikhara, go out there like the bird. Go out there and find what you want, but go and consult the right people, right? And then through that you're going to have a guidance from Allah Azza wa Jalla, right? Now, there's a lot of stuff that I need to still share with you. Where's Brother Hasan, by the way? Is he here? Hasan, just call Hasan. So there's a lot of stuff that I need to share with you, right? And I need to tell you more signs of how you're going to make your decision, right? And I'm going to show you another sign right now. And this sign is going to tell you another way ulama have said you make your decision. You make your decision after your istikhara. So one big one I've given you is through consultation, through the words, through the mouths of those people, you're going to make your decision, right? I'll tell you another one that I made decision of, right? Which was, this was 6 months ago I made istikhara, 6 months ago, right? I'm on the telephone call, it's a long call. I made istikhara, let's say the night before. I made istikhara. I'm on a call to a friend. The friend doesn't know I made istikhara. This friend doesn't know I'm in a dilemma and I have to make a choice, right? Next day I'm on a phone call, right? Phone calls about 50 minutes. 50 to 55 minutes, right? On the 40-something minute, my friend goes off on a tangent and says, these people, because we're speaking, sometimes you go off on a certain subject, and on that subject, my friend went off on a tangent and spoke for 5 minutes, these people, and I was like, whoa, man, these words that were coming out of my friend's mouth, they were exactly what I needed. Honestly, you're not going to be wallahi until you, it was like, I just stopped there. I just held my breath. I listened to my friend and I thought, wow, it's almost like Allah is putting those words right into his heart, coming right to me, and these are the exact words I need to hear to make my decision. Now that's not a coincidence. My friend doesn't know I made istikhara. He doesn't know that I've got this dilemma, right? Now, sometimes you could make istikhara, you hear a lecture, you hear someone saying something, you're in a crowd, you're somewhere, and you hear something that, whoa! This is stuff that I need for the istikhara that I did. Now that's Allah Azza wa Jalla guiding you. Let me give you one more story, okay? Another story is, in 2013, I needed to make an istikhara for an educational project, right? New project I was going to do. Now it was a building that we got, there was a new educational department that we're going to open, okay? I put money behind this, we put a lot of work behind this, and then what happens, I've done my istikhara, and now after the istikhara, this is what happens. After the istikhara, right, so I've done my 2 rakats, what happens? The guy who had the building, after a little while, he said, look, I want my building back because I'm going to do housing development here. The masjid we were working with, they said, look, we can't house you inside the masjid because we haven't got space for you, and there was difficulties in the masjid for us to work with them. There's things that fell apart, okay, this thing never worked, that thing never worked, and every time I'm really trying to make it work, it's not working. I'm doing my tahajjud, I'm asking Allah, please guide me. You know what happened in the end? This thing never comes to fruition. It never comes, right? 2 years I tried, nothing happened. Then in 2018, okay, 2018, I sat there one day, I looked back and I said, Alhamdulillah, that particular education project, Muslim, Islamic education project, never happened. Why? Because I was already involved, prior to 2013, I was involved in many other education projects. And I was giving time to them. And over the years, I got more and more busy with those things. And this particular one I wanted to do in 2013, if I had started that, I would no way have the time to dedicate to it. And I sat there, and also the laws of this country had changed. Okay? Laws of this country had changed in those years. Do you remember Cameron's government? Remember David Cameron's government? Guys, you know or not?
Yeah.
Zoom into their hearts and you're going to see poison there. Wow, man. The guy really, he put us on the radar. And laws changed, atmosphere changed, okay? The way they were looking at schools changed, and I thought, you know what? There's no way I'd be able to have the time to deal with the pressure that would have come on me if I had opened that education project. Now, what am I trying to teach you here? The ulama have said another way that Allah will give you a sign is this, that you make istikhara, and then like the bird, you go for what you want. But then you know what happens? Either Allah's going to make things really easy for you to get that thing, or Allah's going to make it very difficult for you to get that thing. If after istikhara, the thing you want to go for, let's say for example, you wanted to go for, let's say a nikah or something, right? One of the ways you can make a decision is, you make the istikhara and then you see what happens. See how things either blend and come together very easily or they come apart, right? Like I'll give you an example. It's almost like, two magnets. When you got two magnets, if you got certain side, what happens is they just come very quickly together. Are you with me, yes or no?
Yeah.
Right? And if you turn one magnet the other way around and then you try to get it together, it just doesn't come together, right? So after istikhara, the thing that you're trying to get in, whether it's a business proposal or something else that you're trying to get into, you're going to find either there's difficulty after difficulty after difficulty. These are signs from Allah, and there's several of these things that come, hurdles that come your way. Or if you get no hurdles and things are going really easy, like that guy agreed, or he agreed, or she's fine with it, and we quickly got these things sorted out. All these things are signs that Allah wants you to go ahead, right? So where did they get that from? They got that from the actual words of istikhara, because in the words of istikhara you say, فَيَسِّرْهُ لِي. Oh Allah, if it is meant that if this is the best thing for me, then make it easy for me. That's the word you said. And also you say, oh Allah, if this is not good for me, if it's bad for me, فَاصْرِفْهُ عَنِّي وَاصْرِفْنِي عَنْهُ. Oh Allah, move it away from me, turn it away from me, and turn me away from it. Right? Just like the magnets. So if you are trying to go for it, but you're just not able to get it, no matter what you do, or it's difficult to get it, then that's a sign that Allah doesn't want you to go for it. But if things are like happening, wow, that's good, and that thing happened in time, and that thing happens, with ease, and things are being facilitated so easily, then these are signs from Allah that you should go for it. That's exactly what happened with me in 2013. It just wasn't happening no matter how much I was going for it. Now, what I'm going to do is, look, I've got a lot more to share with you. I've got more signs to tell you how to read your istikhara after you've done istikhara. Okay, I'm sure you've already learnt a lot so far. Now, I've also got to share with you an istikhara that you can do, which is going to get you results, inshallah. Okay, as in it's going to bring you one of the signs earlier. And I've also got to tell you how to, say the whole istikhara dua, inshallah. Now, just before I do that, I've got brother. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Okay, we come back to the second session of istikhara and knowing about istikhara and so on. Now, just before I finished off, I gave you some ways of basically reading the signs that Allah Azza wa Jalla will give you. Now, one of the things is that you've got to understand is that while you're doing istikhara, you're trying to find what's best for you. Now, what Allah's going to do, we don't know. Why He's not going to, basically, why He's not going to make me go for this choice, or why He's not going to show me a sign, or He's going to show me a sign. I don't know what Allah's going to do. But I can only hope from Allah Azza wa Jalla that He shows me some kind of sign, right? Now, whatever sign Allah shows me, whether it's positive or negative, end of the day, I'm going to use my free will to make a decision. Now, in that, I'm going to give you another story. I'm going to learn something new from here. So I'm going to give you a new story. So this goes back to I think the 1990s, okay? I'm in madrasa, I'm studying, I'm a young man, and as you're young, you can be naive as well. You guys relate to me, yes or no? Yes, there's a few of you relating. The rest of you are just lying, sitting there just lying by yourself, right? When you're young, you're naive, okay? You can be naive. So I'm a young man in madrasa, and my friend says to me, Hassan, you're a nice person, yeah? I go, yeah, okay. He goes, I'd like you to marry my sister. I go, yeah, okay. Comes along, yeah, just came along, might as well say yeah. So I do my istikhara, and my istikhara is positive. So then, my istikhara being positive, I had to tell my dad about it, And you know how our Asian houses work, you know, you go through your sister-in-law to another sister-in-law to your mother, and then your mother finally tells your dad, alright? So that's how I got the information to my dad. My dad made his istikhara, and subhanallah, normally my dad, you know, like I this all the time, and that's how he rules the house. And the next morning, he was so jolly and so happy. He was saying, come over here, share my breakfast with me, this and that. My istikhara was positive. Wow, I thought, wow, my istikhara is positive, his istikhara is positive. What can go wrong? So everything was going really well until my auntie came to my house. Right? And she never came alone to my house. She came with her wooden spoon. Right? You know what I'm going to say. Right? So she spent the night at our house, and then she's talking to my dad what's happening. And my dad says, I'm going to go to that house. I want to propose for his daughter and my son and so on. So and my mom says, really? Really? And then she takes her masala out, right? She takes a garam masala out, she takes a red masala out, whatever, right? And she puts it all in my dad's head, and then she makes a vindaloo out of it, right? My dad's on fire. My dad says, no way I'm going to get that girl for my son. There's no way I'm going to do that. Anyway, he goes to the house, and then he spoils it over there. But deliberately, he doesn't make an effort to make it go right, okay? Now here I am, I'm thinking, Ya Allah. What happened? My istikhara was positive, my dad's istikhara was positive. In the end, the wooden spoon does the damage, right? So I asked my teacher, Mama Fadrahim, and may Allah Azza wa bless his soul, say Amin. He was one of my main teachers, and he said to me a wonderful thing, and I learned a new lesson that day. He said, Hassan, he said, when did istikhara positive result mean that Allah has ordained this thing for it to happen? When did it mean that Allah is going to make it happen, that Allah wants you to do this, that Allah is going to make you go in that direction? When did it mean that? The fact is, when you've got a positive result, all Allah is saying to you, yeah, if you get married to so-and-so, if you finally get to this thing, then it's going to be good for you. That's what Allah said, and it's true. If you do that, it's going to be good for you. But there's a big if. Meaning that things can go, things can come in the way. And a positive istikhara doesn't mean you have to go for it. All it means is it's good for you, but there's always other things that are good out there for you. You guys understand? Yeah? If you didn't get one fish, then there's plenty of fish in the sea, as they say. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah? If you didn't get one business proposal, then there's plenty more there out there. Now, the thing is, I learned a big lesson that day, which is Allah Azza wa Jal, it doesn't mean that He showed you a positive sign that you have to go for it. No. So what do you do when you get a positive sign? When you got a positive feeling or a sign or whatever after istikhara, you still have got a choice, which is, should I go for it or should I still wait for something else positive to come? Or some other choice that I've got. It's your choice at the end of the day. But however, if there's a negative sign or you feel very negative about it, or the signs that you read are negative, then you better stay back. Because if you go ahead after a negative sign, what you did is you made istikhara, you said, oh Allah, if it's good for me, go ahead. If it's bad for me, then turn it away. And Allah showed you the negative sign, meaning Allah wants you to turn away. And you still said, no, I still want to go ahead. Now then you're going to find there's going to be a negative or a bad result coming ahead. Okay? So only when it's negative, you should turn away. But if it's positive, you don't have to go ahead. And there's no guarantee that you're going to get that thing anyway. Right? Other things could come in the way. Having said that, one of the key things about istikhara is, if you want to be honest and open and honest with Allah Azza wa Jalla, is you better come to Allah Azza wa Jalla with an istikhara where your heart or your emotions or your desires are not attached to the thing you're doing istikhara for. You better make sure that is the case, because istikhara is what? Look, you come to Allah saying, oh Allah, I'm ready to turn away if you show me a negative sign, and I'm ready to march ahead if you show me positive signs. You guys with me? Yes? Now, if your heart is already attached to it, how are you going to turn away? You're going to find it really difficult. Let me give you an example. Some guy proposed to a girl, and they've got talks going on in the family, and one of the things that they did, which they shouldn't do, is they exchange numbers. And the moment you exchange numbers, your nikah hasn't been done, you're going to slowly start with the most wonderful text. Okay, sister, I just want to ask you a question. Right? Tell me, sister, what is... And then the sister's like, yes, brother, tell me, brother, sister, brother, sister. Soon all that goes away. And all the innocent questions that started, you know, sister, I just want to let you know that I do play football on Thursdays, okay? That was an innocent thing. I just don't want to let you know. And the sister saying, yeah, I also want to let you know that I go out on Saturdays with my girls, yeah? Okay, that's fine, it's all good. But soon, you know what they're doing? They're texting each other at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, who told you to do that, right? He's like, oh, I can't live without you. She's like, I'm going to commit suicide if I don't get you. Like from the innocent, you should not exchange numbers before nikah. I'm just telling you that now. But anyway, they did it, right? His name is Mushtaq, right? And let's give a name to it. Sorry if your name is Mushtaq. Right? And her name, let's have a name, please. Huh? Let's have a name of a woman. Sorry?
Aisha. Rashida.
Okay, that's good. You guys said Aisha, Rashida, and some other. What did the sister say over there? Amina, it's good. You know, you guys are good, right? You guys are good. I tell you what, yeah. We've done 12, we're almost 12 cities. Tomorrow's going to be the 12th city. And every time I say, his name is Mushtaq, and I say, can I have a woman's name? Yeah? And guess what? This is the 11th city we're doing this tour, yeah? 7 cities have named the same woman's name. 7 cities. When I said, his name is Mushtaq, her name is, can I have a name, please? You know what they say? Bushra. I'm like, the first time I heard it was in Gloucester. Okay, I thought that was enough. Then I went to Luton, I said, name is, it said Bushra. I said, whoa, right? Third time, went to Oldham, Bushra. Right? Manchester, Bushra. Right? Bradford, Bushra. Went to Glasgow, Bushra. Right? Yes, oh my God, like I've managed 7 times on the course, and I'm thinking, what is going on with this woman Bushra, and what is happening in this country? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, right? So I was glad today, you know, you never said Bushra, but I'm sure, I'm first sorry if your name is Bushra, right? There's nothing we've got against you. But anyway, so Mushtaq and Bushra, they're basically texting each other at 3 a.m. in the morning. Mushtaq gets up and he said, you know what, I'm going to do Istikhara right now. Right? He does his 2 rakats, and after he does his dua, he says Ameen. After he says Ameen, he says, oh, I'm feeling so positive about Bushra. I'm so positive about Bushra. What kind of positive is that? What kind of sign is that? You've been texting each other at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you're telling me that you're feeling positive about it. What's that kind of sign? You know, that thing is, look, your emotions, your desires that have actually attached yourself to this thing. You can't turn away now. Even if you saw a negative sign, you're going to really ignore it. And if you saw a positive sign, anything, like even if you didn't see a big positive sign, you saw something small, right? Something small. Maybe like, you looked at a bus somewhere, a bus is going past you, and on the bus there's an advert, and the advert is said, Bushra. You say, that's it. Right? So I don't know what sign you might see, but that might be the smallest thing, the thing that shouldn't have really linked you to this thing. You might take that as a sign that you're going to go ahead. Now, please make sure whatever istikhara you're doing, if you're going to get information about it, look, let's say for example, right, that you're going for a nikah proposal, right? So people ask this question: should you consult first, then do istikhara, or should you do istikhara and then consult next? I'm going to say to you, you can do either. But please, you can basically get some basic information, right, about the person. Let's say, for example, you've got the CV that's come to you, a married CV, which a lot of people do, CVs possibly for work. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, who on the earth here chose CV as a name for marriage proposals? Who did that? Honestly, why? Because CV, normally curriculum vitae, is for work, right? You're applying for work, right? You're applying for marriage. Are you applying for work here? Seriously, is your work like, in the marriage? They say, there's a joke about marriage. They say marriage is a workshop where the man works and the woman shops. You know what I'm saying? Like, or is it the work that you do inside the house? Like, you're going to do this, you're going to do the dishes, you're going to do... Who chose CV? I don't know who chose CV. That's the most bizarre thing. Anyway, a CV comes out. Okay, fine, a person's information, right? Anyway, so that information comes. Now, what do? Do you do the Istikhara first, straight away, or do you get information? Now, here, you've got some information, you might want to gather some more information, but make sure that your heart is not attached to the person when you go for Istikhara. And you know what? you can actually save a lot of money and time if you probably do the Istikhara first. If you guys know what I'm going to say, especially in our Bengali and our Pakistani communities. Right? Because what happens is, we have like 4 functions before the actual nikah. They're going to have one function just to get together and say, hello, hi. But in the back of that, you're going to bring mithai, you're going to bring loads of, laddu, shaddu, I don't know, whatever you're going to bring, everyone's going to eat, right? And then another function, they come, we bought couple this time, we bought clothes this time, let's all show the clothes. The whole of Pakistan is going to see what kind of clothes are we given. What on earth, man? Who needs to see what clothes you're showing? And the problem is that those clothes are not going to fit in 5 years' time anyway, right? I'm sorry about that, right? But the truth is this, right? Man or woman, you're going to put weight on, right? Man or woman, I'm not saying about women here, right? Man or woman, you're going to put weight on. But why give all this and show the whole world what kapra, what clothes you're giving? And then you've got the Mongolian, what do? They have a Mendi function, right? I don't know, they've got to call again, everyone together. Now, how many functions, how many dinners, how much food, how much like money, and you know what, in the end they do Istikhara, it's like, uh-oh, it's a negative sign. What do you do right now? You could have done that Istikhara in the beginning and saved yourself from a lot of time, money, effort, going through all that hassle. Get a bit of information, do Istikhara. That's what I would do. I mean, a lot of the, when I was trying to get married, I just did Istikharas. I did Istikharas, and I wasn't ready to go forward with all this, this, that. Because the thing is, when you do that, there's a lot of time, money, effort, and then in the end, you go there and then you've got to find an excuse to say no because of some Istikhara. But anyway, it's up to you. You can do your Istikhara later on if you want, and gather the information first, or do your consultation first, but just make sure one thing, which is, make sure your heart doesn't get attached to the thing you're doing Istikhara for, right? Now, let me give you another scenario, right? This one I'm going to give you, look, there's another sign that you get. This sign is the sign of a dream. So Allah Azza wa Jalla can show you a dream. And if you do see a dream, to be honest with you, previously I used to say, look, keep on doing Istikhara till you see a dream, but that's not the case with Istikhara. Istikhara, you might see a dream, and that dream will probably occur 10% of the times, right? So let me have a quick show of hands. Those of you who've actually done an Istikhara and saw the dream exactly to do with your Istikhara, what you're doing related to it, if that's ever happened to you, put your hands up. Right, there's a few hands, that's it. So less than 10% of times, or less than 10% of people are going to see a dream related to Istikhara. And I'll share another thing that I've learned over the years, which is some people, this is not to do with Muslims or non-Muslims, this is anybody. Some people, they sleep and they see a dream. They might see a dream every night, they might see a dream every other night, right? But they see dreams. And some people barely get a dream. Like once in a blue moon, they're going to see a dream. So if you're the first type, like when you go to sleep more or less every night, every other night, you see a dream, put your hands up. MashaAllah. And now if you're the second type, that you basically barely get dreams, put your hands up. Yeah, that's good. And the rest of you that never put your hands up, go to sleep. Right? The thing is, look, some of you you can see it's almost like a 50-50 thing, right? Some of you put your hands up that you get dreams all the time, and some of you put your hands up you barely get dreams. That's how Allah's made us. I don't know what the reason is. It's got nothing to do with you becoming someone really pious. I see dreams all the time. And some people get, honestly, some people it gets to them. Okay, mashallah sister, mashallah brother, you've seen a dream, and maybe it was a deja vu, because deja vu things can sort of happen. As if Allah had His fadl or His bounty on you, He showed you something in a dream, and then that happens later on in real life. That can happen, okay? It's not just Muslims, it can happen to non-Muslims as well. A true dream from Allah Azza wa Jal, or whether it's a deja vu, or whether it's actually something you saw, but it had to be interpreted for you to know what actually is going to happen in the future. This doesn't have to be given to you because you're so pious. And some people are like, I've seen a dream about you, and if I carry on sleeping, I'm going to see a lot more dreams about you. What's wrong with you? Honestly, if Allah's giving His bounty, He's giving His bounty. Do you realize that in Surah Yusuf, the king that saw the dream about the 7 fat cows eating the 7 lean cows in a dream, it's in the Quran, you know that king was a non-Muslim. He saw the true dream, interpreted by a prophet of Allah, Yusuf alayhi salam. But the king himself is not a Muslim, he's not a believer. He doesn't know about the prophet of his time, Yusuf alayhi salam, who's in prison. He doesn't believe in him or his father or his father Yaqub or his father Ishaq or his father Ibrahim. He doesn't believe in any of them. He's not a believer, but he sees a true dream. So the case is you can get a true dream, but it doesn't tell you that you're close to Allah in any way. Just please remember that. So bring yourself back down to earth. True dream, kabacha. Anyway, joking, right? So anyway, look, dreams are of three kinds. Dreams of three kinds. And this is from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is going to help you understand if you do see a dream, and if it's related to your istikhara, then what do you do? In a hadith of Tirmidhi, the Prophet ﷺ talks about three types of dreams. Type number one, they're true dreams, okay? They're from Allah. Type number two, they are dreams from the shaitan, okay? Type number three, they're dreams that are from your own mind and thoughts. So number one, true dreams, they are from Allah Azza wa Jalla. How will you know it's a true dream? There are certain ways to find out. And I'm going to give you a few things that will make you feel like, okay, that could be a true dream. The first thing about a true dream is it's going to be very short. It's going to be very precise, to the point. It's going to be something very peculiar, something that you wouldn't have usually thought about. Something very strange, friend. Something like your mind would never think of that, right? Also, these true dreams, they occur between Isha and Fajr. Most of them occur in Tahajjud time, early in the morning, early the last third part of the night, or they might occur just before Fajr when you wake up. They don't occur after Fajr, okay? And mostly they don't occur after Fajr. Sometimes after Fajr there can be a true dream, okay? You can get a true dream at siesta time, noon time when you're sleeping, but they certainly don't occur like after Asr or something like that, okay? So the nature of a true dream is something small, vivid, very clear, like a dream on its own, something very strange, something you wouldn't have thought about, and something like something that is interesting, like, wow, that was strange about me. Like, somebody might see they've got long hair, or somebody might see that, the teeth is in a certain way, like in the mirror, that a tooth has fallen, or something very peculiar that you wouldn't normally think about. Okay? It could be anything, right? So these are true dreams from Allah. If you do see a true dream, you have to get it interpreted by people who know the science of dreams. And the people who know the science of dreams, honestly, don't go by anybody who reads a book and tells you they can tell you what the dream means. Most of these people who read a book and tell you, they don't have the knowledge of telling you about a true dream. Look at Yusuf alayhi salam. He was a person, Allah says, I gave him the direct knowledge. Okay? عَلَّمْنَاهُ التَّأْوِيلِ. I taught him the thing about knowing about true dreams. Okay? So this is something direct Allah gives people, and they have a sixth sense of knowing exactly what your dream means. Okay? So if you don't know anyone like that, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because inshallah that true dream is going to come in effect in your life anyway. So don't worry about it. Now, number two, a bad dream. A dream, a night that was a nightmare, scary dream, something from the shaitan. That's number two. Number two is something that you were scared of, you were frightened, you had a nightmare, okay? Now, what do you do with a bad dream? Now, first thing is, if you want to stop yourselves from having a dream from the shaitan, you just read Ayatul Kursi before you go to sleep. Okay? Just read Ayatul Kursi before you go to sleep. And then you won't see any bad dream. And if you do see it, it's probably a real bad dream, not from the shaitan, but a bad dream. Now, what happens in that case? You saw a bad dream, you read Ayatul Kursi before you went to sleep, and now you feel that, okay, that bad dream is from Allah Azza wa Jalla. He's showing you something bad might happen. What do? Well, it's a very simple thing you do. And I've done this for the last 30 years, based on what my teacher, Muhammad Fadl Rahim, may Allah bless his soul, say Ameen, what he said to me. And this is from a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is not from him, from a hadith. Now, what's that hadith? The hadith says, if you see a bad dream, this is what you do. You say, oh Allah, I am asking for the good of this dream, and I'm asking you to save me from the evil of this dream. And then you turn towards your left and you do this. You imitate to spit. Okay? If you do that, if there's any good in the dream, Allah will give it to you. If there's any bad in the dream, Allah will save you from it. Say Alhamdulillah. Our religion is brilliant. In 30 years, all the bad dreams, whatever bad dreams I've seen, right? I see a lot of dreams, okay? So whatever bad dream I've seen, I've said that. Allah give me the good of this. As soon as I remember, either in the morning or later on in the day, I remember the dream. As soon as I remember, I say, Allah give me the good of this dream, or Allah save me from the evil of this dream. like that. And alhamdulillah, that bad, if it's bad and if it's actually going to happen to me, Allah has never shown that in my life. Say alhamdulillah. I've never seen a bad dream, whatever I've seen occur in my life. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And that's why? Because Rasulullah told us, that's what you say, and Allah will save you from the bad of the dream. So you don't have to like go around telling people like, you know, I saw this dream, oh my God, I was in this place, I was falling, I was this and that. And the guy's thinking, yeah, I want to see you fall. You know, whatever, you know, maybe a neighbor that doesn't like you or something. No, you don't have to tell anybody about a bad dream. Okay? So simple, say the London. Like that, imitating speech, not acting like waking up from your sleep, your wife is next to you, and you go like, she goes, what's the matter with you? Like, I saw this shaitan in my dream, and I think it was you, but no, it's not like you're going to spit up, right? So, thing is, just imitating spitting towards you, that's it, alhamdulillah. Now, the third type of dream. In the Quran calls it adghafu ahlam, which means muddled up dreams. Okay, dreams that are combined with one another. These dreams usually are from your thoughts, from your mind. Your brain somehow takes your thoughts from the daytime, puts them together, and projects it to you at night time. Usually these dreams are very long. You go from one place to another place, one dream to another dream, one situation to another situation, one person, maybe a family member here, and suddenly you're with a friend, and suddenly you're at the house, and suddenly you're somewhere else. Okay, these are nothing. They're neither good nor bad. You can just ignore them. Okay, these are the third type of dream. Now, the istikhara that you've done, if you do see a dream, now in my life, alhamdulillah, I've seen several dreams. Not all my istikharas come as dreams. Okay, I'm going to be very honest with you. All the signs I've mentioned to you today, I've actually experienced all these signs. Sometimes it's like the consultation, sometimes it's like something you heard, sometimes it's like some sign here, sometimes I like pushing you away, sometimes I like moving you forward towards it. And all these experiences I've had from Istikhara, okay, all the things I mentioned to you. Now dreams, have I had dreams? Yes, I have. I've seen very specific dreams related to my Istikhara. It's like there's no way I would have thought about that. This is something like, you know when you're asleep, you're not in control of yourself. And if you haven't been imagining those things the way you saw it in your dream, it's a sign from Allah Azza wa Jal. And many of the dreams I've seen are very related to the istikhara that I actually did. Okay? And it actually helped me make my decision of, you know, this is probably something that's going to happen. Now, again, to all of you guys that are listening, you don't have to see a dream for istikhara, and you're probably going to see a dream for istikhara maybe 10% of the times. For 90% of the times, you're going to have to rely on the other signs that I'm talking about to make your decision. And I've also had to rely on other signs to make my decision. Okay? Now let me go and tell you, look, sometimes what I've even seen in dreams is I've actually seen a verse of the Quran which has made me decide on exactly what I want to do. But that's me, someone who studied the religion, and I've seen a very specific sign that in the dream I've seen this. This is not like, you know, some people say you do istikhara, then you open the Quran and you look at a verse. If you see Jahannam, then it's an ayah to do Jahannam, then it's a no. If you see an ayah to do Jannah, then it's a yes. And I'm thinking, what about if Jannah and Jahannam are mentioned in the same verse? We're going to do then, right? That's not the way to decide on istikhara, opening the Quran and looking for a verse. So if someone has told you that, that's not the way to decide on istikhara. Now I've just said to you, very rarely, very rarely, I think I happened only once or twice, you know, I've seen a dream and I've seen a verse of the Quran, and that actually gave me the very decision I needed to make. I've also had this where I woke up from the morning and you know what, suddenly, look, I'm not a person who has these strong feelings towards a yes or a no. I'm a very logical person, I've got a very analytical mind, okay? So I'm going to say to you guys, look, you know, if you've got an unexpected, unusual feeling of a very strong feeling like, yeah, I really need to do this. This is when your heart is not attached to the thing like mushtaq, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah? So you've got an unexpected feeling, a rush that says, you know, either you feel so positive about it, or you feel so negative about it, okay? And it's really come to you like all of a sudden now. This sign can only be true in you if you don't usually get that, right? So what kind of person am I? I'm a person who normally makes decisions from the head. I'm not a person that makes decisions from the heart. 50% of you sitting here make decisions from the heart, and 50% of you sitting here make decisions from the head, right? This is from psychology, I'm telling you, right? Allah has conditioned us like this. Now, if you're a person who usually makes decisions from the heart, and then you get this strong feeling, you shouldn't rely on that feeling. Most likely you shouldn't. Why? Because you're normally like that anyway. Your feelings drive you to make decisions, okay? So only people who usually make decisions from their head. I'm one of those types of people. I've got an analytical mind. I can detach myself from the thing. I can look at it. I can look at it without me being attached to it, and I can turn the thing over and over. And I don't have to look at it with me like feeling like I'm part of it and then make the decision. I'm a person who can detach myself from the thing and make a decision. And I've also got, I also will take a lot of the consultations that I've heard, and from that I'll sit down, I'll use my own logical thoughts. I've got a very critical mind. I use all of that to try and decide, should I go here, should I go there? Now, that's usually, when the case, only once in my life, right, I woke up in the morning after the Istikhara, and I just had such a strong feeling that I should do it, or such a strong feeling I shouldn't do it. It only happened to me once, and I actually based my result on that. But usually I would say to you guys, don't base your Istikhara result purely on feelings. Okay, you should base those feelings also after consultation, after you gathered information, after you've made a logical sort of approach to it. And some of you who make decisions with your hearts, okay, I'm going to tell you to do one thing. Go and find someone who's actually got a logical mind, from your friends or from your family. Put everything in front of them, all the information you've gathered together, and let them use their logical mind to make a decision for you, right? Because you don't have that, analytical mind, logical mind, detached mind to make a decision about the thing that you're trying to get Istikhara, you're doing Istikhara about. Now, the dreams that I'm going to give you one example of a dream that I've had, right? Something that actually happens exactly like I saw it. Okay, so this is going to be for you to say, wow, sometimes it's going to happen. Okay, 10% of the time, like I said, you could see something, but it's going to be related exactly to what you did Istikhara for. So if you slept and you sort of dream about something else, like you put an umbrella up, and you're in the rain or something, and you're going somewhere, whatever, I don't know, and then you basically and it's got nothing to do with Istikhara of what you did, right? Then why are you relating it to Istikhara? Like, you probably saw type number 3, which is your own thoughts coming, or multiple things in your brain cells, in your mind that come to you at night. You can't relate that to the Istikhara that you saw. But if it's something very specific, then yes, you can. Now let me give you an example. In 1996, I had to make a decision for a madrasa that I wanted to go to for my final year of the Analytical course. Okay, so I'm in my final year. I'm going to go for my final year. I finished, most of it. I've got one more year left. Now I've got a choice of finishing it off. The Analytical course in England, I can finish it off. I can finish it off in South Africa, and the third choice was I can finish it off in Pakistan. These are the 3 choices that were in front of me at the time. And I did Istikhara for all of them, and I had no result whatsoever. Now sometimes this can happen to you. You have no result. But when you have no result, I've always learned either Allah's got something else for you, or Allah's just testing you, or Allah is making you wait. Because sometimes what happens is, what you should do, look, if you've got no result, no signs, there's no signs coming your way, I reckon you should just stop. You can repeat your Istikhara. There's nothing wrong in repeating your Istikhara. The ulama have said this because the Istikhara is a dua. And for you to repeat it, any dua is fine, right? Rasulullah used to repeat his du'as 3 times. So you can repeat your Istikhara as many times as you want. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do it once as well. So if you're saying to me, Shaykh, how many times do I have to do Istikhara? Once. That's the answer. Can I repeat my Istikhara? Yes, you can. How many times? Well, as many times as you want. In one hadith, which is a da'if hadith, it's a weak hadith, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to Anas radiallahu anhu, so this is in Ibn Sunni, he said, Ya Anas, he said, oh Anas, إِذَا حَمَمْتَ بِأَمْرٍ, when you want to do something, when you're ready to go for a certain matter, فَاسْتَغِرْ رَبَّكَ, then make Istikhara with your Lord. 7 مرات. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in that weak hadith, it's not a strong hadith, I'm making that clear to you, he said, make it 7 times. ثُمَّ انظُرْ إِلَى الَّذِي يَسْبِقْ إِلَى قَلْبِكَ فَإِنَّ الْخَيْرَ فِيهِ. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, then see what comes to your heart, like what is the first thing that comes to your heart, or something that is there present in your heart, that is something which your Lord wants you to do. Now, many of the ulama have said this is a weak hadith, okay, no problem, but the hadith does talk about, if you want to make a repetition, you can make a repetition of Istikhara. And from some of my Istikharas, I have done it 7 times. I've done it night after night 7 times. Some of you, I've done it like, I've repeated another 7 times, another 7 times. Sometimes I've just done it a few times. Like some of my Istikharas, I've just done it once or twice, 3 times. Sometimes I've just done it once and I've just not done it again. Okay? So you've got a choice of how many times you want to be Istikhara. So anyway, I've got a choice now for my final year, and I've done multiple Istikharas and nothing's coming. Right? In the end, I met one of my teachers here in this country. I consulted him. He said, look, Mufti Rafi Usmani from Pakistan is here. I want to make you meet him. So I met Mufti Rafi Usmani. He had a chat with me. He said, come to Karachi, and if you pass the test over there, I'm going to give you a test. If you pass it, then you're straight into Darul Karachi. And I said, okay, fine. I've decided on that, right? So I decided on that. Fine. This is part of the consultation that I made. Then my father lands at Heathrow from Bangladesh. He comes at Heathrow, I pick him up. On the way, I said to him, Dad, I'm going to Pakistan for my last day. He says to me, Dubera. He says to me, be quiet. I said, why, Dad? I said, what is it? And he says to me, you're going to go Bangladesh. I said, why? And he gave me a very good reason, right? So now look, this can be seen as part of my Istikhara thing as well, because I'm again consulting now. So I said, Dad, why? Why would you want me to go to Bangladesh? And he said, because you have got connections through the first madrasa you were at in Dewsbury, you've got connection with all your teachers from India. And with the second one that you are in Nottingham, you've got your connections with your Pakistani teachers from Pakistan. But you have got barely any contact with your Bangladeshi, ulama. You've got no contact with that. And I want you to have contact with your Bangladeshi ulama. That was a fantastic thing that he said. You know what? I made my decision. You know what? That's a very good thing. I really need to connect with my own, background, because I'm, though I was born here, but that's from Bangladesh, and I've been to Bangladesh several times. I thought, you know what? I need to connect with those ulama. So I made my decision. I want to go Bangladesh. But what I didn't know is Dad had other plans. Right? Now, 3 days before I'm about to go to Bangladesh, right? And I actually remember the flight's on Sunday, and it was a Wednesday, and my sister-in-law said to me, they said, where are you going? I said, Bangladesh. They said, what for? I said, to study. Really? I said, what's going to happen? They said, don't you know? I said, what? They're going to hide your passport. I said, what? What are you talking? Why would they want to hide my passport? Because they want to get you married. I said, no way am I getting married to someone off the boat like this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah? I was going to use the word freshly, but I've already used it. But anyway, please forgive me. I've got nothing against you guys, okay? If you've come from Pakistan, India or Bangladesh, you've settled here, and you kind of climatized, alhamdulillah, you've learned some English, alhamdulillah, nothing against you, but me and a woman from there, she's going to look at me and say, I want to serve you. I'm like, I just don't want to be served, okay? I've got other things I want to get done, right? Okay, so just forget. Okay, honestly, really good to be served, whatever they do, good things they do, right? But I need to get on with it. I need to understand it. I need her to understand my culture. She's got a different culture. I've got a different culture. This is me thinking, all right? Look, nothing against you guys. If you want to go and get married to someone in Pakistan, Bangladesh, mashallah, alhamdulillah, then go for it. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. Honestly, there's absolutely nothing wrong in getting married to someone over there and then bring them over, because sometimes you actually get I want to share something with you, right? I'll share something with you, right? I haven't said this on the rest of the talk. I want to say it for you guys, yeah? Once I was talking to one of the scholars from Bangladesh. He came over to this country and he said to me, Hassan, he said, do you think the people who go from this country, from Britain, all the way to Bangladesh, and they marry someone from over there and they bring them over here, because he was a Bengali, so he was related to Bangladesh, but you can relate the same thing to Pakistan and India, right? So he said, do you think those people who get married to someone from over there and they bring them over here, do you think they end up with more divorces, or do you think the people who get married in Britain, a British guy marries a British woman, do you think they have more divorces? I said, I think it's the ones that get married from Bangladesh, they probably end up with more divorces. He said, you're wrong. Right? He said there's more divorce rates amongst the British people who are British, and she's British, he's British. Basically, they have more, relatively, there's more divorce. I said, how? So he said to me this. And he's got a lot of wisdom what he said, right? He said to me, the guy that marries someone from Bangladesh, he brings her over, He doesn't know her language properly. She doesn't know his language properly. Alright? So when he gets mad at her and he starts swearing at her, she doesn't understand. It could be like, I love you that he's saying, and she just doesn't understand. He's going, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, he loves me so much, right? Honestly, but the thing is, he could be saying whatever, she doesn't understand, right? Now what she does is, number one thing, these women who come from those countries, he said, in their mentality is that they've got to serve the husband, they've got to do things for the house. So she's busy doing things, she's ironing, cleaning, cooking, whatever, looking after him, and he gets looked after. He doesn't find the kind of life he wanted, which is, you know, the British lads, right? The kind of, you know, want to go out and go here, you know, you understand me, my lingo, my whatever, right? You understand? You know, like, the type of life that they have, right? So she doesn't give him that kind of life, but 10 years pass by, and he sees that, you know what, this woman stuck by me, you know, she's done everything for me, and then finally, eventually, he thinks that, you know what, she's a really nice woman. So they kind of blend together, alright? That's what usually happens. Because the guy who's in Britain, and he married another British woman, so this is now you British guys, okay? He comes in marriage, she comes in marriage, she's like, okay, so what have you guys done? Like, you know, I've got a job. She goes, well, I've got a job too. He's like, you know, she's like, you got a British passport? Well, I've got a British passport too. Right? You got a degree? I've got a degree too. You got money? I've got money too. You got family in this country? I've got family in this country too. You gonna show me your strength? I'm gonna show you my strength too. You think you're bigger than me? Well, I'm as big as you. And when that happens, alright, when that happens in any marriage, when you've got like, I'm gonna do that, like, when that happens, like, and they both basically can go for, you know, the Shaykh said, okay, he said that, my friend, he said, is a bit of an ingredient for trouble, right? Now, of course, if you get married and then you kind of think, you know, you're not going to come with that challenging mind, okay, with your husband or your wife, right? Then things can work out. But whenever you get that thing that, you got that, well, I got that, you got that, I got that, right? Well, you got more than me, I got more than you, and you know, that kind of attitude actually leads to more argumentation. So I thought, wow, that's some wisdom I never actually thought. So if you want to go over there and you want to get married, barakallahu feekum, may Allah bless you. But for me, in 1996, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get married to someone over there, right? So now here I am. I thought, what I'm going to do, I need an istikhara. And in my istikhara, that night I saw a dream. Because I remember I told you, I'm going to tell you one about dreams. So I saw a dream. What did I see? I saw my mum, my dad, and an elderly cousin brother of mine, all three of them searching the earth of Bangladesh to find me a wife. I'm not gonna say that word. Some of you find it offensive. Some people find it offensive if I use that word freshly in the but yeah, I'm trying to avoid it. You can see, like, I'm not trying to like hurt anyone here, okay? So then what happens is that I wake up in the morning and my dad's, you know, talking about, oh, when you go back Bangladesh, say this to your mom. And I said, who's going back Bangladesh? He goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm not going back Bangladesh. He said, why not? I said, because you're going to get me married over there. He said, do better. He said, be quiet. He said, nothing's going to happen. He said, go over there. In the end, I went, okay? When I went over there and I landed in Bangladesh, you know what the first thing I found myself in? I found myself in Mission Impossible. They were trying to take that passport off me like anything. My mum's on my case, my cousin brother's on my case, they're trying to take that passport. I was sleeping with my passport in my pillowcase on the other side, and I'm sleeping, I'm reading my Ayatul Kursi as well. Right? Honestly, I was terrified. What's going to happen? Honestly, you're a young man, right? You could be a young woman like that. You don't know what they could do over there. And they're all like, you know, the kids in the village, they're taking the mick out of me. They're you're going to get married to so-and-so, you're going to get married to so-and-so, her name is this. It wasn't Bushra, by the way. You're going to get married to so-and-so, right? And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do right now? Because my dad's already fixed it. My mum knows where this village is. Oh my God, I landed. I basically had the choice. And that choice, I could really challenge them, or I could play dumb. And I thought to myself, you know what, that the best thing is going to be for me to play dumb. And I played dumb. 8 months later, my dad lands in Bangladesh and he's gone up and down that village and he's basically getting ready for, all, they basically planned my God, they planned the wedding hall, they planned how many invitations, they planned the date, they were talking about, they were literally, honestly, from here to that door there, that much of a distance, they were talking about, straight after my exams, they're going to get married over there and all that, and I played the dumbest guy ever. I was like, whatever. I never said anything. I never challenged him, never said anything, but my passport was in my possession. And when the time came, it's a long story, I'm not going to go into the full story, but when the time came, I had to get out Mission Impossible. That was very difficult. Honestly, I phoned England, I booked my own ticket, I basically, to straight after my exams, I told them I'm going to leave. And then guess who were the 3 people that were behind this? My dad, my mom, and my elderly cousin brother. All 3 of them were planning all of this. And I had to leave that. I told my dad, look, remember I told you that this is going to happen. And I did an Istikhara. And I did see this. And my dad, had to let me come back, right? So I did come back. But the thing was, this particular one, I did see a dream. And it was related very much to the exact thing that could happen. Sometimes in Istikhara, you could actually be in that position where you do see, what's lying ahead of you. Now, like I said to you, with dreams, it's going to sometimes, take place. So don't think that that's the go in and all of, if I don't see a dream, I'm not going to make my decision. No, that's not the case. And especially, please guys, have mercy on yourself. Right? Don't let an auntie make an istikhara of your family and she's going to decide for your future. Because she's only deciding for you to get married to whoever it is because that's your cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's someone she's always been, hell-bent on for you to get married to. So don't fall for those things. And don't fall, if somebody comes and says to you, look, another scenario, this is a very serious thing. Right? Let's say, for example, you're going to get married, right? And you're going to do your own istikhara, and somebody else is also doing istikhara in the family. And they see a dream, right? Okay, fine, they saw a dream. Whatever happened, but should that really have an effect on your choice? No, your choice is your choice at the end of the day. Right? And I don't really like it when other people get in between. Like in Bradford, we were there in Bradford, right? And then somebody said, look, I made istikhara, my auntie made istikhara, and then she wants to take it her way of what I should do. And I said, are you from Bradford? He said, yeah, I'm from Bradford. I said, welcome to Bradford. Right? Now, why should an auntie or someone actually do that with you? Honestly, it's your life. Make your choice. Based on not just your istikhara, based on consultation, based on logic, based on many things, many signs that are one of the many signs that Allah could say, Allah could send your way. Okay? So now, I'm gonna share with you one more istikhara that I did. Okay? And this one I based it on weighing information and looking at my own situation, right? So basically, this happened a few years back. We had this thing about, that I had to decide for my daughter which school am I going to send her to, and she was actually selected for a school that was a grammar school. Okay, say mashallah. I don't want anyone to give any evil eye, but we had to make a choice. Like my other 2 boys, they were going to normal schools. Should I send them to the normal school or to the grammar school? In the end, this is how I made my decision. I did my istikhara. I did have a feeling from a dream that I did see also, but I also put my logic to it. Right? My logic was this: if you're ever in a situation where, mashallah, you find yourself gifted and talented, you've got good news and you've got bad news. The good news is that you're gifted and talented. The bad news is what? Anyone tell me?
They won't accept you.
That your peers, the people of your level, the people of your age, they can start bullying you, right? Because they're jealous of you. You guys with me, yes or no? Right? So basically, I was seeing that in my house anyway, because my 2 sons, when talking to my daughter, say, oh my God, did you see? She remembers that thing. She remembers the exact date of that thing. Oh my days. Right? And they're taking the lead out. So I also saw that my daughter, because when you're gifted and talented, what happens is that you find it a little bit like to adjust to the normal people, because all people are a little bit lower than you in terms of, your peers I'm talking about. They're lower than you, most of them are lower than you in their intelligence zone. Not to say that you should brag about it, not to say you should be proud about it, but their worldview is like that. Now that makes you not really fully get on with all your peers, if you know what I'm trying to say, right? So I needed her to get on with her age group. So for that, with that logic in mind, and I really looked at the situation, I thought, you know what? She's going to go to that school. She's going to fly anyway through her test, right? But what I don't want her to do is go through that school, become this kind of, almost like a doctor at the age of 16 or 18, like you're talking to a specialist at the 16 or 18, and then she can't get along with the people of her age group. What's going to happen to you when she has to get married and she has to move on in life? So I thought, you know what? Her intelligence is not going to be taken away from her. So I decided to send her to the school where the two boys were going. And alhamdulillah, over the 4 years that she's been there, or 3 years she's been there, alhamdulillah, I've actually seen a massive change in her. She's got her level of intelligence, whatever Allah gave her. Say mashallah again. Barakallahu fiha, say that. And Allah bless her. Say ameen.
Ameen.
So, but the thing is, she's now able to get on with the people of her age. Alhamdulillah. I've seen that change in her personality, and I wanted that change. Now she's got best of both, okay? And then she told me, the other day she told me this, she said that, Dad, you know the school that they were going to send, that grammar school, do you know that, she said, Alhamdulillah, you never sent me there. And I said, why? What are you saying Alhamdulillah for? She said that because there's a drug problem in that school. And kids in that school are actually, passing drugs at break time. I thought, alhamdulillah, that's another good reason that I made my decision, right? So sometimes it's weighing your situation, looking at it for some other information, right? And saying, you know what, with all the things in front of me, this is the best decision that I can make. But I did have some kind of a feeling from a dream as well that I saw. So I'm gonna add that in. But there are decisions of istikhara I've made which are to do with information, consultation, logic, put it all in front of you, analytical mind, and then you assess it and you say, you know what, this is probably the best choice that I'm going to make in going ahead. Now, I'm now going to share with you the Istikhara Salah and Dua. Okay, how do you do Istikhara Salah to get results, like to get a sign? So the biggest thing I'm going to say to you is to choose your timing and get your devotion for Istikhara Salah. Okay, because you want to do Istikhara Salah at a time when you're most calm. And you want to do Istikhara Salah at a time or at a place or whatever where you're not going to be distracted. And also when you say these words, you want to make sure that you've got the devotion to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Okay? Go to YouTube, put my name in, put the word khushu next to it, okay? And you will see a whole 1.5 hour lecture that tells you how to get your concentration in Salah. Use that, go and see that, okay? After that, do your 2 rakats. You'll see how much devotion you have, inshallah, in your 2 rakats. What's the time I normally use? I normally use the night time before I go to sleep. Why? Because that time no one's going to bother me, my phone's not going to bother me, I'm most relaxed, the whole house is quiet, okay? And it's such a calm time to get the devotion. So that's the usual time that I do istikhara. But you can do istikhara any time you want, except for 3 times. What are the 3 times you shouldn't do istikhara? Istikhara cannot be made. Okay, istikhara cannot be made after your Fajr Fard till the sun rises. And 20 minutes or 15 minutes before Dhuhr Salah comes in. And also after your Asr Fard till the sun rises. These are, till the sun sets. Till the sun sets. After your Asr Fard till the sun sets. These are the 3 times you cannot do any nafil salah, so there shouldn't be any istikhara salah done in that. But any other time you can do your istikhara salah, but try and find a time when you're most relaxed and do your istikhara. Now, when you do your 2 rakats, okay, so normal 2 rakats, you can read any surah you want in there. Ulama have recommended Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun in the first rakah, Qul Huwallahu Ahad second rakah, but it's only a recommendation. It's not from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, but they recommend. Why? Because Rasulullah ﷺ recommended those surahs for other nafil salah in certain narrations. Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun in the first rakah. Why? Because it negates every single God. And Qul Huwallahu Ahad, it affirms the oneness and the tawheed in Allah Azza wa Jalla, in the oneness of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And that's why they say, that you're in your first rakah, you're negating everything, and second rakah you're affirming the oneness of Allah Azza wa Jalla. It just brings you closer to Allah. But you can choose any surah you want for your istikhara salah. Now, try and get your devotion, get your concentration, especially when you say Ihdina Salat-l Mustaqim, because you're saying, oh Allah, guide us in the straight path. When you go to your sujood, it's the closest position you're going to be to Allah Azza wa Jalla. So try and spend extra time in your sujood. Have your head thinking, Allah is watching me, Allah is watching me, and I'm asking for guidance from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Finally, you do your tahiyyah, you sit down, and you say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Now you can pick up your iPad, your phone, your tablet, a piece of paper, a book with the istikhara written on it. You can find the Istikhara dua anywhere on the internet, okay? You can find YouTube videos that will tell you how to recite it in Arabic, okay? So Alhamdulillah, you know, you've got that thing to do. So don't make an excuse that you can't say it in Arabic. The dua should be said in Arabic. If you don't know Arabic, no problem. Many places on the internet have got transliteration, okay? So they'll literally write out for you how you should say the dua. Or on YouTube, you can find people saying the dua. Just play it, pause it, say the dua as it is, play it, pause it, and say the dua as it is. Or if you know how to recite Arabic, just recite the Arabic straight on. Okay, now, what are you saying in Istikhara dua? You're saying, Allahumma, oh Allah, inni astakhiruka bi'ilmika. Oh Allah, I am seeking goodness through your knowledge. Wa astaqdiruka biqudratika. And I am seeking power through your power. So Allah, I'm asking you to give me power from your power. Okay? وَأَسْأَلُكَ مِنْ فَضْلِكَ الْعَظِيمِ. And I'm asking for the best of your bounty. I mean, your great bounty, I'm asking you to give me that. Why? Because I don't deserve for you to show me a sign, but I'll be very happy if you can show me a sign. Okay? Show me some kind of guidance, that I need to make my decision. Okay? فَإِنَّكَ تَقْدِرُ وَلَا أَقْدِرُ. For you have power and I don't have power. وَتَعْلَمْ وَلَا أَعْلَمْ. You know, you have all knowledge. وَلَا أَعْلَمْ, and I have no knowledge. وَأَنْتَ عَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ. And you are the knower of the entire unseen. Meaning that things that I can see, I might be able to decide on. But you know things that I don't even see. You know tomorrow that I don't even see. You know the hidden things that I don't even see. You know the hearts of people that I don't even know. So I'm asking you to help me from your knowledge of the unseen to help me make this decision. Then you say this. Allahumma, oh Allah, in kunta ta'alam anna hadha al-amr. If you know that this matter of mine, this affair of mine, this thing that I'm about to go towards and do, if you know khayrun li, that is good for me. Good for me in what? Good for me in three areas. Number one, good for me fi dini, in my religion. Wa ma'ashi, number two, my life. Number three, wa aqibati amri, in the final outcome of whatever's going to happen. The final result of what is going to happen, like in the long term. And I want to be happy in the long term, okay? So number one, I don't want my religion to be affected with any decision I make. I don't want my life, number two, to be affected. And certainly I want to be happy at the end. That's what you're trying to say to Allah Azza wa Jalla, okay? So these three things, if you know that is good for me, you're saying, فَقْدِرْهُ لِي, oh Allah, decree for me. وَيَسِّرْهُ لِي, make it easy for me. ثُمَّ بَارِكْ لِي فِيهِ, and also bless this thing for me. So make it easy for me, make it happen, and bless it for me if it's good for me. Okay? And then you say the opposite. وَإِن كُنْتَ تَعْلَمْ, and if you know that this أَنَّ هَذَا الْأَمْرِ, that this affair of mine that I'm about to go towards, شَرٌ لِي, is bad for me, in my religion, fi dini wa ma'ashi, in my life, and with regards to the final outcome, aqibati amri, if you know that it's bad for me, fasrifu anni, then you turn it away from me, wasrifni anhu, and you turn me away from it. Waqdir li al-khayra haythu kana, and Allah, decree for me and write down for me and put my fate in whatever else is good for me. Meaning, I know that you're not going to give me this right now because you're going to turn me away from it, but just don't stop there. Make me go towards the thing that is good for me, whatever it is, wherever it might be. حيث كان. ثم أرضني به. Not only make me go there, but ثم أرضني به, make me pleased with it. Subhanallah. How many things we ask Allah. So what we're doing in this Istikhara dua is we're asking Allah for His knowledge, His power, His bounty. We're telling Him to tell us, about the best decision to make in the uncertain future ahead of us. The best decision for my life here, my next life in the Akhirah, make it easy for me, put barakah and blessings in it, and make the final outcome the best outcome, or turn me away from it and give me the best thing, whatever you decide for me. So all these things we're asking Allah Azza wa Jalla, okay? So once you've done that, go ahead and do all the things that I said. Either go and try and get what you want. Allah will either make, like I said, the two magnets, okay? Either that will happen. Go and get your consultation done. You'll hear things. Put your logical mind to it, or get another logical mind to assess it. see what signs Allah shows you from people's mouths, from things that you experience, from behaviors that you see, from many things that Allah will show you, and put it ahead of you, and then sit back and then you decide. It could be a dream, like I said, but it doesn't have to be a dream. It could be your logic, it could be your assessing your own situation, it could be very much going to the people that are in your situation, going finding them, consulting with them, and from whatever you've heard from all those people, you come back and you say, you know what, the best decision is this for me to make, okay? So all these things you will do. Now, the other thing I'm going to add here is that, what is it that we get from Istikhara? What is it that we get from Istikhara if we are doing the Istikhara, apart from the fact that we've just done this 2 rakats and we're going to go for, we're going to make this dua. Now the ulama have said this, your heart will be connected to Allah, number 1. Number 2, you will actually, you're happy with whatever Allah decides for you. So you're asking Allah, turn me the direction you want me to go. So you're happy with that. Number 3, you will find success in both worlds. Number 4, your heart will be content that I've asked Allah, I've consulted Allah, I've asked Him for help. Number 5, you will get reward for it. Number 6, you will put your trust in Allah, which is tawakkul, and that's a reward in itself as well. Number 7, it's going to take you out of doubt. Okay. Number 8, you're following the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Number 9, you're asking for barakah from Allah, blessings, which is that whatever I do, I want it to be increasingly good. Barakah is, once Allah puts barakah in it, it keeps on becoming good and good and good, and many good things come from it. From a little you have, a lot Allah Azza wa Jal gives you. Okay. So sometimes I want to say to this, look, sometimes you make istikhara, this is what happens. You make istikhara for her, it's positive. She makes istikhara for you, and it's negative. You make istikhara for a business, and it's positive. Your business partner makes it, and it's negative. What does that mean? That means if you get married to her, you're going to be happy, but if she gets married to you, she's not going to be happy. You guys get that? Right? So if that does happen, then that's the answer. So she should basically not go ahead with it, because she's got a negative sign for it. Now, in saying that, sometimes look, you might be on the go. You need to basically, you might not be able to do the 2 rakats. You might not be able to get the dua done. You haven't got the time. You haven't got the wudu. You haven't got anything. Okay. So there is a dua of the Prophet ﷺ, which is, it's not an istikhara, but it's a way of still asking Allah for help. It's not the istikhara, by the way. But it's a way of on the go. You haven't got the time to do this 2 rakats right now. You've got to make this choice right now. What do you do? Well, just turn to Allah and say, Allahumma khir lana wa khtar lana. Oh Allah, please decide for me. Oh Allah, please make the decision for me. I usually say this dua whenever I'm going in a consultation with a project that I have. So basically, if I'm in my own academy, if I'm doing something with my own work, and we've got a big meeting, in that meeting I usually make the dua at the beginning, which Rasulullah made often in his life. It's not an istikhara, okay? So don't think this is a short cut and paste istikhara, okay? But it does help you, like you've got to make a quick choice or something. You turn to Allah and say, Allahumma khir lana wa khtar lana. Oh Allah, please, make the decision for me. Help me to make the right decision, okay? You can do that, but nonetheless, it's not an istikhara. For the proper istikhara, you need to do the 2 rakats, and then you need to say the dua that is there of the istikhara dua. And for your information, this particular book that we've got is book number 8 of the books that I've written for the Islamic syllabus for children and teenagers. This book is for teenagers and for adults as well. In page number 200 and something, the Istikhara dua is there with much of the information that I've shared, but it's got so much other information on it. You can find it at safarpublications.org. So if you go to safarpublications.org, you can find the book. But anyway, if you want the Istikhara dua, you don't have to buy the book. You can literally find it on the internet, like I said, and that will be your decision that will be the dua that you will say, and you will find it readily available on the internet, inshallah. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up to Q&A. Okay, so I'm going to ask sisters for any questions that they've got, and I'm going to ask brothers for any questions that they've got, and from there we can take. So brothers first, please. Any questions? Hand up. Yes, go on, brother.
Thank you for your talk, very well presented, as always. My question is, Istikhara is 2 nafils. So can you combine those nafils?
It's only 2 rakats of them.
2 rakats. So can you combine that niyat with other nafils when you do so with the hajjat or?
Best is just do a standalone 2 rakats. Don't do combination. Don't do combine with anything else. Because the brother was asking, can you combine, like do 2 rakat nafil of istikhara, and also at the same time you do 2 rakats for tahajjud or some other one. My advice is not to do that. My advice is to do a standalone 2 rakats for istikhara. You have full devotion for istikhara because you want guidance from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Okay? Sister with a question, please. Yes, at the back. Sir.
I was told that in the Istikhara dua, you need to specify what you're asking for.
Okay, there's a very good point that you brought up, which is when you say the dua and you're saying the full dua, you can either in your mind, as you do the dua of istikhara, Allahumma inni astakhiruka bil, throughout the dua just think of what you want to do istikhara for. Or when it comes to 2 parts, especially 2 parts in the istikhara dua, which is hadal amr, this affair of mine. When you mention the word hadal amr, it comes twice in the dua of istikhara. Just think of what you're doing istikhara for. Okay? And that's enough. You don't have to actually mention what you're doing istikhara for. If you're an Arab, you can actually mention it, but for generally for all of us, you don't have to mention it. I've done most of my istikhara without mentioning it. Okay? Any guys with a question? Yes, go on.
Assalamualaikum. At the end of the dua, it says, make me happy with your decree. What happens if you're not happy with it?
So you know that when it says, make me happy with your decree, what that means is, look, if you turn me away from this, and then you give me a second thing, as in something that I never even asked you, so some other place, some other thing, right, which I didn't even know, but you took me in that direction. Right? So something else. So I was going to buy a house here, I was going to buy a house here or a house here, in this area. Suddenly you made my heart look elsewhere, some other thing came in, some consultation around. They said, well, go over there, and then you moved my heart towards there, and then I found a house in another area. That's when you're saying, Thumma Abdinibi, make me pleased with that, because that wasn't my original thing to go for that. So I might be hesitant to go for that other area. But when I go for that, make me happy with it. Like, as in, don't make me just go in a different direction because you know there's good over there. Make me go in the direction where there's good over there and make me happy with it as well. That's what it means. Okay? And just on that brother's question, look, if there's another thing, look, you might make a positive istikhara and then you went ahead. You saw your signs, you went ahead. And then it's a negative. Right? As in the thing, like, let me give you an example. Like, a sister came to me after the Luton event, and the sister said, Shaykh, I want to share something with you. I said, what? She said, I made istikhara, I got a positive sign for my husband to be, I married him, and then he turned out to be not a good husband. And I thought, oh my God, I thought, oh no, what is going on here? She said, but Shaykh, I'm happy now where I am. I said, how? She said, because through this bad husband, I found my Allah, I found my hijab, I found my salah. These are the 3 things she said. That I wasn't praying, I wasn't practicing, I wasn't wearing hijab, but I found all of that. And I'm really happy with that. And she also added, her husband is also coming towards the right path as well. Okay? Let's make dua that her husband fully comes towards it. Ameen. Okay? But the thing is, look, she went through, she found a positive sign, she went for it, she dipped a bit, but now she's come up where she's happy, she's really happy, she said. But now it's just time for her husband to come to the straight path as well. As in, practicing, becoming a practicing Muslim as well. Sometimes that can happen, that Allah knows, because what did we say in the Istikhara? We said the final outcome. Remember that? The final outcome. So, look, what we're saying is, look, we want this thing to be fully good for us. Like, sometimes you want a business proposal, and then you want the business proposal to go good from A to Z. You want it to be good for you. And most Istikharas say, inshallah, you want to go for a nikah, inshallah, your husband or your wife, you want her or you want him to be good throughout the whole of the thing. Yes? Yes? And inshallah, most of your results will be like that. Sometimes what happens is this, on the odd occasion, you go for it, it might be really good in the beginning, 5 years your business was good, the 6th year, bad business, 7th year, you're bankrupt. That's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2, 5 years was poor, you were in the red, you were struggling, you're borrowing money. 6th year, it's getting a little better. 7th year, you're flying, you paid all your debts. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, to the 20th year, 25th year, you're doing smashing. Which one of these 2 scenarios would you want, the first or the second? Come on guys, first or second? Second, right. That's why you said in the thing that, look, if one of the choices means, right, that it's the best for me, and you know it's the best for me, and the final outcome is going to be best for me, And one of the other choices is that it's going to be good for me in the beginning, but the final outcome is going to be bad for me. I want the one that's going to be good for me in the end. That's only if those choices are heard. Otherwise, most of the time, you're going to find good all the way, inshallah. When, like, as in inshallah, throughout the whole thing, whatever you get into, it's going to be good. It's going to be good throughout. And sometimes the best results will come at the end anyway. But what you're saying is, if it's a choice between the two scenarios, I'd rather have a scenario when the best things coming towards the end. One of the sisters, please, question. Yes, not the same person. Another sister with a question, please. Yes, go on.
What if you have no choices but you just need something?
Okay, there's a really good one. But what if you've got no choices but you want something? Should you do istikhara? Well, istikhara is not really for that, right? So you need to have some, like, let's say for example, you wanna do something and then you do istikhara. That's what istikhara is for. It's not like, oh, let me just do istikhara and someone's gonna land on my planet and he's gonna land on my roof and I'm gonna look at him and say, hey, you wanna marry me? Yeah, let's get married together. Yeah. What's your name? Father Christmas. Okay, fine. We get married together. That wouldn't be the case. But you've got a valid thing, which is what some people do that. What your question you just said is very valid, which is some people just do that. They've got a blank mind and they do istikhara, or they think by istikhara something's going to be drawn towards them. But that's not what istikhara is about. Okay. I just want to say one more thing that I didn't add to this lecture, which I need to add, which is one of the istikharas that we got from Sahaba radiallahu anhum is. Like we rarely get these things of Sahaba doing Istikhara. They did Istikhara, it's in Ibn Majah, hadith number 1557, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away and they had to make many different choices because they were shocked. They didn't know, should they pray janazah, should they not do it, should someone lead the janazah, should they bury him in Makkah, should they bury him in Medina, or should they do, okay? And one of the choices was, what kind of grave should they dig for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? There's two types of graves, okay? One is a straight rectangular shape, okay? You dig in the ground, you put the deceased in the corner, put some planks of wood or something on the side diagonally, and then the soil goes on top of that. That's called a ship in Arabic. That's basically shaq in Arabic, and that basically it's a type which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also legitimized in his time. Okay, of the graves they can do. Another one is that you make an L shape of a grave. So here's the ground level. You dig down, dig across, dig up, dig this way, and then dig back up again. So it's an L shape. And then you put the deceased in, across, in the latter part, the end part of the L, and then you put another cover over him, something that stops the soil from falling over him, some kind of barrier, and then you fill this part up. So the Sahaba needed to make a choice of what do they do, which type of grave. And this is how they made the choice. They made Istikhara, and they said there's two men in Medina. One man, he digs the first type of grave, and the second one, he digs the second type of grave. They said, whichever man comes to us first, because both of them are okay. Rasulullah legitimized the second one as well, which is called Lahad in Arabic. And they said, whichever man comes first to us, out of the two that dig the grave, we're going to go with that choice. And the guy that dug the L-shaped grave, he came first and they made him dig that grave. Okay? So that was another way they made a decision. Any of the guys that got a question? Yes.
Do colours signify anything in green?
Do what, sorry?
The colours, like
Khula. As in
Colours.
oh, colour, this is a good. Okay, sorry, yeah. I was going to say it's a northern accent. Khula. It sounds like khula. Like, well, imagine if the wife says, I want a khula, and the husband says, okay, yeah, you're free to go for wherever. You want a khula, yeah, okay. So sorry, bro, no offense here. As I said, it's colour, right? So. No offense to you, brother. I love you for the sake of Allah, okay? And no offense to all the rest of you northerners, okay? You missed the bus, I missed the bus, right? So no offense to all of you, right? So anyway, do colors signify anything? I would say, I would actually not agree with that. Alright, some people say you see a color when you sleep at night. If it's like green, it's a yes. If it's a white, it's a yes. If it's a black, it's a no. If it's a red something, I don't know what colors they have, right? But I wouldn't actually go with that. Because why? Because different cultures and different settings have different meanings for different colors, right? So red, for example, can mean red. It can be for love, Valentine's Day. Not that you should be going for Valentine's Day, but red can also be for danger. Red is for fire. Red is for emergency. Red is stop. So what do you do with that color? And so I would say, don't go for the colors. So go for other signs, inshallah. Right? It's a good question. Any sisters, please? Questions? That's just the back here, right the back one. Right the back one.
Shaykh, I was wondering if you could do a two-in-one Istikhara, i.e. ironing the spouses.
Okay, good thing with that. Like, basically, you've got two choices. You make one istikhara for both of them. Is that what you're saying?
No, I do the spouses for my children, so obviously I want them to have a good spouse, but I want their spouse to be good to me also.
Okay. You're one of the mother-in-laws, eh? She just asked if she could have, she wants the spouse of her child to be good to them and good to her as well. MashaAllah. You're thinking well ahead, MashaAllah, okay? So the thing is, look, the thing is, look, when you're getting your son or daughter married off, look, I've made this intention. I've got 3 children. Okay, I've got 3 children. And one of my children right now, maybe in the next 5 years is going to get married. Okay, I've made my decision as a dad, right? Set in stone. Right? I made that decision. Now look, his wife, right, is for him. Okay, as in, he's going to get married to her. I want to try and make him independent. I'm going to try my best to give him separate accommodation. I'm going to tell him, son, I'm going to give him all the tips of how to keep a wife happy. I'm going to give her all the tips of how to keep her husband happy. After that, I'm going to say, both of you get out of here and go over there and make yourselves happy. Right? You know what I'm trying to say, right? As in, look, I don't want to be in a position where in any way I'm interfering with whatever, they've got between themselves, blah, blah. I want to be happy too, don't get me wrong. I want to be happy, but my happiness doesn't come first. My son's happiness is going to come first. My daughter's happiness is going to come first, okay? So I need to bear that in mind. And it's, look, you've got to remember this, right? We got married at a time when things were very different. These kids are getting married at TikTok time. Right? It's a very different era that we're living in. Very different era that we're living in. These kids, I don't know. My teachers used to say to us, you guys are made of plastic. Because my teachers were from India, from Pakistan. They used to say, basically they're trying to say that you're softies. Softies. To us, in the UK, studying here in the 90s, they say, you're made of plastic. I look at my students and say, you're made of polythene bags. Right? Right? At least I'm a little bit hard, right? You guys, I'm telling you, the wind's going to blow you away, right? The thing is, it's a different time. Sayyidina Ali said, he said, bring your children up for a time that is not your time. Right? So please take that in consideration. Because what happens is, if you want your daughter-in-law or your son-in-law to be the way your mother-in-law, father-in-law treated you, right? And you want them to do exactly the same procedures, there's going to be war. I'll just tell you that right now. Because they're from a different era. You find it difficult because if you've got 2 generations above, the way they treated their daughter-in-law, son-in-laws, it was very different from the way we got treated, and it's very different from the way our children are going to be treated. So please, the sister's question is, can you make istikhara in a way that you want it for a double thing, which is you want it good for your son-in-law, good for yourself? Look, if you're going to make istikhara, just make istikhara genuinely. Don't make it for yourself. Just have in your heart good for all of us, right? Having that in your heart, right? Now, it's up to Allah, whatever, comes our way, but make sure that their happiness is actually comes before yours, because it's not our marriage here, it's their marriage, okay? But what I thought you asked for is you make one istikhara for one thing. Look, if you've got several choices, I normally make istikhara for this, istikhara for that, then get up again, another 2 rakats for that, right? 3 separate 2 rakats, 3 separate du'as. That's why you're going to have the 3 choice, because I'm making 3 different, it could be, look, proposal 1, proposal 2, proposal 3 for the same business. It could be like, should I go here, there? I'll make 3 separate istikharas. It could be in one night or one day I've got istikhara for this thing, for a school thing, for a project thing here, for a journey thing there. It could be 3, and I'll do 3 separate salats for that. Because the more salat you do, the more closer you come to Allah. That sister ahead of you that had a question, could you please ask your question quickly, please? We're over time. Go on.
What if the signs for the Istikhara are mixed, so you're not sure?
Good thing. If your signs for istikhara are mixed, you're not sure what to do, you've got negative signs, positive signs, what do you do? I say to you, stop, pause. Because you can always do your istikhara, you can repeat it again. There's nothing wrong in repeating it after you're confused or after even if you've got negative signs. So sometimes I've done this. I do istikhara today and it's negative. I won't go ahead. I'll repeat the same istikhara 6 months later and it's positive. Why? Because in those 6 months something changed. In 6 months ago, if I did it, it would have been bad for me. 6 months later, I do it, it's good for me. Allah showed me a good sign. right? Now, what she's saying is, if you are getting confused, like you've got positive signs, negative signs, what do you do? Well, I would say to you to stop. Don't go ahead, don't go back. Just leave it. Maybe something else is going to come. But there's nothing wrong in you repeating the Istikhara at a later time, or just leave it for a while. And then, because some people, what they've done is, they've done Istikhara like this year for a certain proposal, it didn't work out, things went away, right? Next year, so those guys, let's say they did a proposal for nikah, those guys went away, they searched elsewhere, you searched elsewhere. 1 year, 2 years later, they thought, you know what, out of all the girls we looked at, that girl was really good. And your family thought, out of all the boys we looked at, that boy was really good. And then the talks come back together again. And they say, do you want to negotiate again? Do you want to come back to the table again? And you do Istikhara again, and then it turns out to be positive. Right? It can happen like that. Anyone here that had a question?
Coming from a Persian and sort of
Persian, like Aladdin's carpet here, where it flies in the air. You're coming from that, you're going with the curly shoes on.
What it is, there's a lot of superstitions and things, and they link it to the religion. And what I want to ask is what you mentioned about opening up the Quran on a certain page and reading from that page and expecting that to answer your question, is it sort of reliable?
No. So the question is opening the Quran and then seeing something in the Quran, negative or positive, and then making a decision that is that reliable for Istikhara? The answer is no. Because you don't know how to, how do you read that? Because look, in one ayah, you've got so many things going on. How do you make your decision on your eyes just falling on an ayah? I don't get it. So I would say no to that. Don't make a decision on that. And what's the second thing?
Yeah, because what it is, it's there's certain people, how they would do like the coffee fortune telling.
Right.
Sort of fortune.
No. There's no fortune telling in our religion, number one, and there's no fortune telling in Istikhara. If Allah shows you a dream, and that's to do, like I gave you one example, right? Like the one with my mother, my father, my cousin, brother, and that's something that was unique. I saw that, and that was exactly what it was, right? But it's not like fortune telling. Sometimes Allah reveals something to you of the future that could happen, right? And sometimes people see things, like for example, you're trying to get married to someone, you see a dream that you're really having trouble with that person. You're in that person, in a marriage, and you're having trouble with that person. Now that's a sign. In a dream, that would be a sign, because Allah's showing you reality perhaps in the future. Sometimes you see a sign and you're really getting on with that person, you're so happy with that person in a dream. Now, dreams again only occur like 10% of the time, but if it does happen, that can be a sign. Because look, you're asleep, you've got no control of your body, so whatever you see, it's got to be from Allah Azza wa Jalla, especially if something that you wouldn't have thought of. It's not like you've been daydreaming every day of lying next to her, and then in your dream you see yourself lying next to her. I'm not talking about that, alright? Okay, the Bushra situation, right? Poor Bushra. But anyway, but if it's like people are reading signs of things, it's nothing, okay? I'm going to have one last question, that's it. What was that? You're the last person.
Just wondering how many nights can you do Istikhara for?
I've already mentioned that you can do as much as you want. As many as you want. And that was a short one. Any last one, you're the very last one. No more after you want.
Exactly. Just a quick one.
I think it was brother, sorry. What's the brother's question?
After you run Istikhara, there like any time limit when you get your answer?
There's no time limit when you get your answer. As in, Allah can show you sign any time, and the system is going on, because you actually spoke on.
I'm sorry. Just with I've just heard somewhere or read it somewhere. I'm not sure how authentic it is. Like if a girl wants to get married or she's ready to get married, but there's no proposals yet, or they're not actually thinking of some, and they start doing Istikhara in preparation or something.
No. So look, as I've said to you, look, Istikhara is, look, if you're making a choice, look, if you're saying, should I get married right now or not, and you're doing Istikhara for that, that's fine. Because you're asking, like, is it good for me to get married right now or not? That's fine. But if you're saying that, look, there's no marriages, but I'm doing Istikhara so that someone can come along, that's not what Istikhara is for. Istikhara can't be done for something that is already thought. So you can't do Istikhara, let's say for example, should I go to Hajj or not? Istikhara can't be done for that. Istikhara can't be done for something which is haram already or makruh already, because Allah has prohibited that. You can only do Istikhara for those things that Allah has allowed. And from those things that Allah has allowed, it's not a thing that you're trying to bring that towards you from the unseen. It's not that. It's like you've got a choice. You've got a situation like a proposal has come. I want to do istikhara for this. 2 proposals have come. I want to do istikhara for this. Like something's actually there, and then you do istikhara. Whether you consult it first or whether you do istikhara first, that's your choice. Anyway, jazakumullah khair, guys. I really enjoyed being here today. I'm going to actually thank. I'm going to thank the organizers and also the people who are looking after the whole year.